Casting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good morning, Madison and streamers everywhere. I'm Jesse Nelson, Sports Center, brought to you by Ho Chunk Gaming Madison, home of smoke-free slots and the highest payout percentage in the area. Ho Chunk Gaming Madison. More spins, more wins, more fun. The Green Bay Packers have a new defensive coordinator. And no, Wisconsin football fans, it is not Jim Leonhard. It's former Arizona Cardinals head coach Jonathan Gannon. Gannon came to Green Bay for an interview last week, hired over the weekend officially by the Green Bay Packers. Gannon coached 3 seasons as the head coach of the Cardinals. Only 15 total wins in those 3 seasons, but he was the defensive coordinator and a successful one for the Philadelphia Eagles prior to getting the Cardinals head coaching job. Plenty to react to coming up on Wilde and Tausch next on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel. Bryan Bulaga in is our special guest cousin sub of the day for Tausch, who returns with his reactions tomorrow. Tough Sunday for Wisconsin basketball. The men lose at home 73-71 to USC, snapping their win streak. The women lose 88-53 on the road to Minnesota.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
It is the Monday edition. The Green Bay Packers have a new defensive coordinator edition. It's Monday, and even though old T ain't here, we'll take some calls on that edition. The Jim Leonhard, still employed by the Denver Broncos, available for interviews today, but he won't be interviewed by the Green Bay Packers because they have their defensive coordinator edition. And Jesse, help me out here. Who's the one is it Jim Harbaugh that says who's got it better than us? Is that his thing?
The whole Harbaugh family kind of does that, but Jim's the one who made it popular. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I got news for you. You know who's got it better than you, Jim? Us. We got it better than you. Because we've got arguably the greatest cousin sub of the day that you could ask for edition. And here's a hint. He's from Iowa. Collegiately, anyway. Edition of Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee, 100.5 ESPN Madison, 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam. ESPNWisconsin.com, the ESPN app, your Alexa smart speaker, streaming live video, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and, of course, everything you could possibly need. It's not all new anymore. It's been around a while. But it's all customizable, and it's all awesome. It is the ESPN Wisconsin app. I'm Chase Wilde in Green Bay, which I need to fix my camera angle because I look like I'm very short, which I am, but shorter than I actually am because there's too much headroom. Jesse Nelson is in the Everlight Solar ESPN Madison studios. And from chilly Florida. Oh, poor guy. Oh, it's still -6 here today It's like our 4th consecutive day of sub-zero temperatures. This guy's got it rough, though. It's like 40-something, I'm sure. Poor guy. He is a future Packers Hall of Famer. He was our famous friend, but that's not royalty-free music anymore, so we don't call him that. But he is the great Bryan Bulaga, the GOAT of Cousin Subs. Cousin Subs, we believe in better. Bryan, good morning. Hello. How you doing?
I'm good. Good morning. It's it's not that cold here yet. Today, at least. The cold temperatures come in tomorrow. Gets low 30s, maybe even to the 20s tomorrow morning down here. So today it's just overcast, raining, blowing in this cold front. But tomorrow is when the fun begins. So
do you take us on I mean, not literally video-wise, but just generally speaking, take us on a tour of your closet. So you grew up in the Chicagoland area. You went to Iowa. You played for the Green Bay Packers, where you did not wear sleeves when it was cold outside. So what do you have left of cold weather gear? I'm sure you got a lot of Chargers cold weather gear that you held on to from your time in L.A.
Yeah, I got a lot of leftover gear. A lot of leftover gear from L.A. Yeah.
What do you got? So seriously, it's going to be 20. If it dips into the 20s and you've got to take your dog out, we know you've got your boots and whatever else, but do you have anything to get you through these frigid temperatures in Florida?
Yeah, I mean, like I got some sweatshirts, maybe I got some hoodies. I got a couple pair of jogger, like sweatpant type things. Like long sleeves like this, that's...
Looks pretty thin, that long sleeve shirt you're wearing.
Yeah, it's pretty thin. It's not really what I would recommend going out in if it's that cold. But when it gets down to that temperature, I spend a lot of time just indoors. Don't really need to venture out too much. If it's sunny and it's not too windy, I'll take Leroy on a walk and then I'll wear a couple layers, a hoodie, another long sleeve underneath it, a beanie, and we'll go on a brisk walk. Yeah, nice. A brisk walk to warm everyone up, to warm the dog up, to maybe get the blood pumping for me a little bit. But besides that, there's no hanging out outside. Like, unfortunately, tomorrow it's going to be so cold, but Declan has training at 7 p.m. So they don't take training off just because it's cold. You go train. So I'll be sitting outside braving the temperatures at 7 p.m. tomorrow evening. And that I will be wearing about 10 layers, maybe 2 pairs of socks, a lot of different modalities to keep me warm. We'll just say that.
You poor thing.
I mean, Jesse, listen, I'm very sorry that you're bitter that it's negative 50 there right now. Like, I'm very sorry. I get you're bitter about it.
But I don't think you're sorry at all.
Yeah.
But cold is relative, right? Like, cold is all what it's relative to, cold right now for you is that. Yeah, I get it. When I was living in Wisconsin, what I'm living in right now was not cold. This was fine. This was not a big deal. It's totally good. But when it gets below 30 in Florida, there's problems. It's cold. I mean, it doesn't feel good. And, put yourself in Florida temperatures for 5-6 years straight. Don't venture out to the cold much, and then it gets into the 20s. And you tell me if you're feeling good. And I would promise you wouldn't be feeling good. It wouldn't feel nice.
Terrible for you. Poor Bryan. Since we do like to do social media posts, I would love it if you could find time during training to just put together 30 seconds of what a Chicagoland native former Packer wears to training when it's bitter cold in Florida. I want to see that because I'm wearing a hoodie and sweatpants in my house.
Yeah. I don't blame you. I mean, that cold's coming through no matter what. It doesn't. When it's that cold by you guys, you're getting cold no matter what. You could have the most insulated house. It could be perfectly done, and that's getting through. It's too cold.
We do have our great Pella windows that keep us warm, but nevertheless, it is bitter cold here. I have to carry one of my dogs out and then set her down and ask her to go to the bathroom. So it's been lovely. But we wish you the best getting through tonight's training, and more importantly, Declan. I hope he bundles up and has a good practice. All right, so I don't even know where to begin on this, because for me, I will admit, not only was I looking forward to the possibility of Jim Leonhard, who I've known for 2 decades, being the defensive coordinator, but I do believe I am on the record saying, based on his interviews as the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, I was not especially enamored with the idea of Jonathan Gannon being the new defensive coordinator, because media starts with me. So, in fact, I may have texted an NFL head coach who recently got an extension, who I will not name, but I'm sure you can figure out who it is, and said, hey, could you please make sure that not only is your new defensive coordinator good with your defense, but good with us? And I was promised that he would be, but I'll believe it when I see it. Maybe when you're a head coach, it's different than when you're a defensive coordinator. But I was stunned, Brian, by the number of people that reacted negatively to this hire.
Yeah.
I'm not here. Look, and I learned my lesson many years ago when I suggested during your rookie season, during your Super Bowl run, that chanting the Bears still suck when they could potentially end your season. I didn't love that idea. I was informed to shut the hell up. So I have. Okay? I have. I am not going to tell you how to fan. What I am going to say is I don't understand. I mean, it does feel like, because I saw this with Mike McCarthy, and we'll get into him as well during the show today. I saw Steelers fans up in arms. What a terrible retread hire that is. Explain to me, Brian, and then we're going to take calls because it's Monday, even though Tausch ain't here. Explain to me why Jonathan Gannon, whose defenses have some pretty good numbers, who had a defense that went to a Super Bowl, why are people down on this hire? I'm not painting the entire fan base as down on it, but it did feel like there was a lot of negative immediate reaction yesterday when the news broke.
Yeah, and I think Gannon's a good football coach. I mean, and I'm not talking head coach because we saw how that, but again, if we're going to assume it's based on Arizona has been a disaster for how long, right? Like, I think since we lost there in the playoffs in 2015 or 16 when
Correct.
We lost down there?
2015 season. Yep.
Yeah, they've been a dumpster fire since then. So, like, it's not like you can judge Gannon based off of his job with the Cardinals, right? I mean, and if you look at the Cardinals, right, like let's look at the Cardinals. They were able to stay in games because of their defense. They lost a bunch of games by like less than 7 points. I believe the Packers were one of those teams, if I'm not misjudging this.
And 62 yards the Packers managed that day.
Yes. So he knows what he's doing when he's calling a defense. Let's put it that way. And he obviously had a great run in Philly. So he's, to me, at least I like the hire. I think it's a good hire. He's got a proven track record calling plays in the NFL as a D coordinator. I know they're, like Al Harris and some of the guys that they interviewed obviously are good candidates, right? And they're young but have they called plays in the NFL, right? Like that's the biggest thing. And I get everyone wanted Leonhard, right? Because of the connection of being a Badger and being at Wisconsin and then staying home and all. Like, I understand all that, and that's a normal reaction. And Tausch was one of those guys that probably really wanted Leonhard, and listen, am I saying would he have been a bad choice? No, I'm not saying that at all. But there is something to be said about a track record, and have you done it before? And is there evidence of you being a successful defensive coordinator calling plays? And there is for Gannon. There just is. It's there. It's very clear evidence. So to me, I am not down on this hire at all. I like the hire. I think it's a good hire. Now, to the media standpoint, is he a little quirky? Yeah, he is. It seems like there's some awkwardness there with him, which is going to be interesting to see how he, like you said, is it from head coach now back to coordinator? If he's a little more, I don't want to say relaxed, because obviously it's a high stress job, right?
Sure.
We understand that, but maybe he's a little more, I don't know, personable now that he's not in control of an entire franchise as a head coach, and he's just back to being his coordinator position, which I hope he is, right? Because he's not an old guy. He's a young guy. He's taking over a defense that, by all means, has a lot of really good pieces to the puzzle to it, right? There's a lot of good pieces to it.
And a few holes.
Yep. Oh, yeah, for sure. Definitely a few holes. Here's my biggest question, right? And this is where I get, because I wasn't sure what style Jim Leonhard played. I forgot what defense he called in Wisconsin and what he's familiar with. I know what they run out in Denver, but Gannon he's run 3-down schemes. Obviously, everyone runs nickel, but he's coming from the Fangio tree, right? That's where he comes from, is the Fangio tree. So with that being said, what is the base structure of this defense, right? Because we go from Hafley and it's a 4-down base structure, and we bring in personnel that is for the 4-down base structure, and that's how this defense has been built and everything like that. Joe Barry was a 3-down structure, and we've been a 3-down structure team forever, and obviously we got rid of that a few years ago, and I think the 4-down structure has been good. It's been a breath of fresh air. I think guys have taken to it. So what is it going to be now, right? What are we going back to? Are we going back to a 3-down base defense, right? And for everyone that is going to jump in the comments, say, well, this is a nickel league, so it doesn't matter what base. There is a identity and a structure and a base that all D coordinators have, right? There is that. So let's just relax. I understand that it's a 4-down nickel league, right? A lot of passing, but right. D coordinators have an identity. They have an identity of what the base structure of the defense is. So that is my biggest question, is what is that going to look like? Is he going to go more towards a 4-down base defense, or is he going to come back in and change things up and go more towards the way Fangio did things and look at it that way? So I'm not saying it's like the end-all be-all question, but it's certainly something that I'm looking forward to seeing him talk about, and what the structure of this defense is going to look like, especially with the pieces that have been brought in, like Micah and things like that. Like Micah, yeah, he could stand up and play outside backer, but I don't want him dropping into zone coverage. I don't want him dropping into coverage and being like Clay used to do and things like that. I don't want that. I want him constantly rushing the quarterback. I don't want to see him, go in his own like Joe Barry used to have the DNs do. I don't want to see that. That's not what DNs do. That's a day off for the tackles when the best pass rushers drop into, the curl flat route coverage.
Spoken
It's like
a true tackle who knows.
Yeah.
That's a great moment for you. Yep.
Yes, it's like, oh, perfect. I get a looping 4-tech out here. That's really nice. Thank you, D coordinator. That's nice. So I'm hoping that's not what we're going to see. But again, he's ran good defenses. It's just a matter of I want to see kind of what his thought process is as he gets into the building, sees the personnel, and we go from there. But like you said, there are holes to fill. There are definitely holes to fill.
All right, I want to get to calls on this, but I do want to say this. As someone who likes Jim Leonhard a lot, if your question is why didn't they wait and at least give him an opportunity to interview, I think it is 1,000,000% valid question. I mean, the Broncos lost yesterday. Mm-hmm. So had they won, the only interview you could do with him was virtual because they had to get ready for the Super Bowl. but you had a week window to do a virtual interview. Now they lost. You could have him on a plane this morning, theoretically. And so do I think that that's a valid question to ask? 1,000,000%, yes. And frankly, it will be a question that will be asked of Matt LaFleur, whether it's by me or one of my brethren. It will be asked. I don't want to be the guy who asks it first question out of the chute while, like, Jonathan Gannon is sitting at the table next to him. Hey, before we talk about the guy you hired, why the hell didn't you wait and at least interview Jim Leonhard? I don't think that's the first question, but I think it's an undeniable valid question. I would also say that if Jim Leonhard had done all the same things in his career, but done them at Iowa and been an Iowa native and been a walk-on for the Hawkeyes and been a 3-time All-American and been their defensive backs coach and been their defensive coordinator and been their interim head coach, I don't know if the level of why didn't you wait for him would be quite as intense, right? Just to be fair. And I'm including myself in that mix. Like, believe me, I wanted him to at least interview. But again, it's a valid question. So I am not poo-pooing anyone who's wondering that, because I'm wondering the same thing. And I look forward to Matt LaFleur facing that question. Maybe Gannon just blew his socks off, right? I mean, Gannon is a lot like Hafley in that, he had that line when he got the job with the Philadelphia Eagles, I don't have a scheme. And that was the same mentality that obviously he does, but that is that kind of shock and awe response to the head coach interviewing him because he wants to tailor it to the personnel he has. That's exactly what Hafley liked to do. But he still had base ideas. So I get it. I think those are valid concerns. I am especially intrigued, though, by Packers fans who are at either end of the spectrum. Like I'm sure there's a group in the middle that's like, okay, he seems okay. We'll see how he does. That's me usually, right? Yeah. I want to know where you're at. Either you're like, I love this hire and here's why, or I hate this hire and here's why. 844-770-3776, 844-770-3776. That is the Carbless Talk and text line. Liz is more. We want to get your reaction. I was on Sunday Karma yesterday with Craig Karmazin, with Greg Scalzo, with Kyle Wallace, and with Alex Strofe. And we took calls the entire time, including during my segment with the fellas. And it was mixed reviews. I think maybe we took 5 calls while I was on, and 4 were negative and 1 was positive. So I'm curious to see if we have that same ratio. 844-770-3776, 844-770-3776. That is the Carbless Talk and text line. You heard me mention this to Brian earlier. Our Pella windows are keeping the cold out. It's a struggle, but that's why they're so good. And right now, for your New Year's resolution, the sky is the limit with Pella's 0% interest for 4 years. No payments, no interest for 4 years. Think of everything you can do in 4 years. Get a college degree. Have 3 different defensive coordinators. Raise your toddler until they're ready for school. Serve a full term as president. Start your own journey toward meeting your personal goals and enjoy Pella's high-quality products with exclusive features custom-made for your home. The deal ends January 31st, which, by the way, is like 5 days away. Where did January go? So schedule your free consultation today at PellaWI.com. Bryan Bulaga is our cousin sub of the day. We'll get to your thoughts on Jonathan Gannon, the new defensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers. Next, it's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Mark Tauscher here for Pizza Hut. Now, I've been telling you for a while now how much I love Pizza Hut participating in their legendary Book It program when I was a kid. I loved it then, and I love making new memories enjoying it with my family today. Well, for a limited time, Pizza Hut's Big New Yorker pizza is just $10. An extra-large pizza with 6 huge foldable slices and bold New York-style flavor. Big size, big value, and just $10. Order right now on the Pizza Hut app or at pizzahut.com. Pizza Hut, feed good times. And for a limited time, order a big New Yorker pizza for just $10. And remember, no one out-pizzas the Hut.
The area's best high school sports coverage is Zimbrick Honda's presentation of Prep Mania.
It's a top 10 matchup on Tuesday Night Hoops. The number 2 ranked team in the greater Madison area, the Edgewood Crusaders, square off with the 9th ranked Mount Horeb Vikings. Myself and the Dean of Area High School Sports, Dennis Semrau, have the call. Tip-off is 7:15 with pregame coverage beginning at 6:45, Tuesday the 27th, on Zimbrick Honda's presentation of Prep Mania.
Hey, it's Rich Eisen. Keep it right here after Wilde and Tausch, and join us for the Rich Eisen Show on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
4 years. That's enough time to earn a college degree, to serve a full term as a president, to train for something big and become someone new.
You bet, and get 0% interest for 4 years at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, so you can invest in your home and in life's biggest moments. With exclusive features and customizations, Pella offers the highest quality products at a price you can afford.
Aim high when setting your New Year's resolution, and imagine what you can do in 4 years when you finance your home project with Pella. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Your New Year routine just got a major refresh thanks to Carbless. Staying mindful, Carbless has 0 sugar and 0 carbs. Watching calories? We've got you covered. Still want something bold and delicious? Well, that's our specialty at Carbless. Whether you're out celebrating or settling into post-holiday goals, Carbless keeps things light, fun, and completely guilt-free. Start your 2026 with flavor and no compromise. Celebrate the new year with bold flavor, 0 guilt, and a drink that keeps things light. Happy New Year from Carbless. Let's make your new year feel flawless.
Skilled trade workers are the backbone of every community, and also the Army National Guard. Soldiers trained to keep the power flowing, engines running, and in every other trade needed to accomplish the mission. These soldiers are on the fast track to learning skills that can set them up for success at home with companies looking to hire the best. Their resumes are being built through their paid training and part-time service. Find out how you too can learn a trade profession by visiting NationalGuard.com. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
$2.3 million. A recent Schwab survey of Americans says that it takes $2.3 million to be wealthy. Well, you may have had your financial plan set on a bigger or a more humble number. But if you're looking for added insights on how to get there or how to avoid some tax pitfalls on the way, Annex Wealth Management is ready to listen. Mark Tauscher here, and whether your situation is complex or simple, the Annex Wealth Management team can give you wealth expertise and guidance on reaching your goals. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference.
Want to move better, play faster, and compete at a higher level? Train where Wisconsin's top athletes go. Total Athlete Performance. From middle school phenoms to the pros, TAP is Madison's #1 destination for speed, power, and athleticism. Their proven systems, expert coaches, and cutting-edge equipment help you dominate your sport. Can't make it in? Train anywhere with the TAP mobile app. Spots are filling fast, so don't wait. Visit tapwisconsin.com to schedule your free athletic assessment today.
Prizes, flyaways, even cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting ESPNWisconsinContests.com.
That's ESPNWisconsinContests.com. We're on the Badgers.
The coaches, the players, we're bringing an entire new mindset.
Because we're on Wisconsin sports.
And it's to win. It's to win.
You're listening to 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Bryan Bulaga is our cousin sub of the day. Cousin subs. We believe in better. 844-770-3776. That is the Carbless Talk and text line. Lists is more. As a Packers fan, I guess I'm asking, are you in or are you out on Jonathan Gannon? Before he coaches a single down, before he even gets introduced, before his hiring is even official, how do you feel about that hiring? Are you in or are you out? 844-770-3776. Let's go out to Minnesota and begin with Colin. Colin, good morning. Welcome to Wilde and Tausch. How you doing?
Hey, good morning. I'm doing well, guys. Just in the coffee shop getting my caffeine fix today. Yeah, I'm in. I'm 100% in on Gannon. It's not a flashy hire. I wasn't excited when I saw the headline. But same with Hafley. I felt the same way about him. You know, these guys stick around in the NFL for a reason. He's got the experience. He did well with the Eagles. I'm going to trust LaFleur. I'm going to trust Goody. I'm going to trust Ed Policy, and we're going to make it happen. I mean, 6 months from now, this could be the hiring of the offseason.
I
like that.
Great point. And I think the better point, and thanks for the call, is what did people think when they hired Jeff Hafley? Like, rewind 2 years, and you're thinking, this guy didn't win at BC, right?
Yep. Exactly. That was everyone's take. That was everyone's take. What do you mean he couldn't even win at Boston College? Look at his record at BC. Well, okay. Like, again, I don't understand how that translates to be able to calling defensive plays, right? Like, you have to look at things, like, you have to, like, separate successful head coach, right, and then play caller. Like, I guarantee you, and, like, this goes back to the play calling thing, the Chargers are going to love their play caller that they just hired away from McDaniel that was in Miami as a play caller. It's just an offensive coordinator. They're probably going to love that, and Herbert's probably going to thrive with that. Doesn't mean he's a great head coach, but he sure knows how to call offensive plays. Like, that's like we have to, and he's only looking at one aspect now of this team. Like, that's Gannon. Gannon doesn't care about what happens on offense. He's not worried about situational, what happens here, and I have to take care of the offense. No, he's worried about defense. So to me, like, that's why I agree. I agree with that. You can't look at what just because of what they did in the past means that they can't be a good coordinator. Like, that's because they had a bad stint as a head coach. Because if that was the case, right, the Broncos should be terrible with their D coordinator. They should be terrible. They should be just awful. But for some reason, Vance Joseph, he calls pretty good plays in Denver for that defense. So I'm just throwing it out there because I'll put it this way: like, if you would have said we're going to hire Vance Joseph 3 years ago, people would have been like, "No way!" They would have lost their minds. But guess what? Guy knows what he's doing. Like, guy knows what he's doing when it comes to calling plays on the defensive side of the ball. So that's just my take on it. And you have to look at things and separate head coach responsibilities, coordinator responsibilities. Much different.
I'm amazed by Vance Joseph because here's a guy who was the Broncos. He was their head coach once upon a time, and he had the humility to come back and be the defensive coordinator for a team that he used to be the head coach of. I don't think there's many people that can do that. And look, he may get a head coaching job, right? There are still openings. Apparently, no one wants the Browns job, which I'm not sure I can blame them. I love the essay portion. They're taking all these tests. They got to write an essay. How's that going for you?
Instantly out. Instantly, no thank you. Well, hey, instantly, no thank you.
At the rate they're going, you might have a shot at it. And with zero coaching experience beyond that championship that you won with Declan's Pee Wee team.
Yes.
But, Vance Joseph leaves and Jim Leonhard becomes their defensive coordinator. He's already their assistant head coach. So maybe there's something more to that story. Again, I get it. There's been a lot of conversation about him. So let's try and set that aside and focus just on Jonathan Gannon. 844-770-3776. Let's get to another call. There's John in Milwaukee. John, good morning. Welcome to Wilde and Tausch. Where are you at on Jonathan Gannon?
I'm the guy who talked to you yesterday that you probably said is the only positive out of your callers.
I remember. That was you. Yes, indeed.
That was me. So I wanted to finish our conversation, so thanks for taking my call. Your coworker was so negative about the hire, and he was like, his comeback to me was, I get to have my opinion. Of course you do. And it's nice of you to let us calling to give ours. It's great. But his opinion was a rant. And the rant was it's a bad hire, a safe hire. They're going to be 9-7, get ousted in the first round, and blame it on injuries. And that's just an unrealistic take because, first of all, the injuries were a huge part. We got into a little bit yesterday.
No doubt.
And you can't have both. You can't say that Hafley is a great coordinator, but his team gave up 25 points in the fourth quarter, but injuries, you blame the injuries. Well, of course you blame the injuries. If we have Edgerrin Cooper, Devontae Wyatt, and Micah Parsons, nobody can rationally think we're going to give up 25 points in the fourth quarter, right? It's not going to happen. We're going to probably not do that. So it wasn't really Hafley's fault. We were injured badly. So you could say, well, Hafley's not a good coordinator. So Jonathan is a good hire because he has a lot of experience. He did great in Philly. Hafley's team never got turnovers. His teams did. No one wants to talk about that.
Well, they, in fairness, John, I'll let you
that.
finish. But they had 31 takeaways his first year, and then they dropped to 14 this past season. And it's one of the most mystifying things I've ever seen, that in a league where you get what you emphasize, they emphasized it and got nothing in return.
Right. He did have a good first year, that's for sure. But again, nobody knew who he was. And like, oh, who's this guy, right? Boston College, very few people, Packer fans, knew who he was. And there's something to be said for a guy in the room that has head coaching experience, too. There is something to be said for that. And I think that everyone overestimates my question to you, Jason, is you should also ask about Raheem Morris then. Raheem Morris has been highly successful in this league, to quote McCarthy, highly successful. And he's done pretty good as a head coach. And a lot of these guys that get head coaching jobs don't do that great when they're coordinators because they go to usually a bad organization with a bad quarterback. So it's hard to be successful. You don't go and inherit what LaFleur did, right? I mean, so a lot of times these guys go back to being coordinators are really good again because they're good at what they do, but they're also in the right situation again. Because most of these coaches, like, is Hafley going to have success at Miami with no quarterback? Not right away. He's got to get a quarterback, right? I mean, Ben Johnson waited to go be with Caleb Williams. Harbaugh went because of Dart. Like, the good guys know what they're doing, the guys that are in demand. They just don't go to a terrible organization. Miami's been horrible. Cleveland. These are hard organizations to win at. So I'm sticking up for Gannon, saying you go to Arizona with a quarterback that's a little bit of a head case, and you don't have any structure there. It's not a good organization. It's hard to win there. So I think we got to let them at least coordinate for a little while before we say it's a bad hire. So do me a favor. If you're going to ask about Jim Leonhard, ask about Raheem Morris. And again, scheme matters. I know that 2/3 of the time we're in nickel, most teams, but Jim Leonhard's a 3-4 guy. Morris is a 3-4 guy. And we basically have 4-3 personnel. Is that a fair statement?
Yep. And look, again, I don't know what Jonathan Gannon. I have a couple buddies that cover the Cardinals, and on my to-do list today is to reach out to them and get a better feel for what he did in Arizona. But the bottom line, and thanks for the call, John. We appreciate it. I'm glad you got to finish your thought. Look, none of us know exactly what he's going to do. I am very curious to see. It's okay to be skeptical, though. Like, I'm not telling you that you have no right to be skeptical about this hire. And the Raheem Morris point is another good one. He's another name that was instantly who you were thinking of because there was actually, it appeared there was going to be a battle between all the former and, frankly, current Rams, 49ers, Shanahan, McVay tree guys to get him because he was available again. Now, it looks like Gus Bradley is going to take over. I don't know if they announced that. I may have missed it. But he's going to take over for Saleh, it would appear, in San Francisco. So Raheem Morris, maybe Raheem Morris spends a year out and does TV. Who knows? But you could ask the same question about him, and I look forward to Matt LaFleur. And let's be honest here. There are back-channel ways to discuss things about candidates without actually interviewing them. It's not the same as interviewing them, but you can get a feel for, and look, I don't know what the dynamic, I don't cover the Broncos, but Sean Payton made him his assistant head coach. So obviously Sean Payton thinks very highly of Jim Leonhard. Maybe there's some sort of succession plan in place there. I don't know. But, again, whether or not he would have come back, he's not coming back. Jonathan Gannon now. So let's just focus on him, whether you like it or don't, because both opinions are valid. 844-770-3776. We'll get to more of your calls coming up. Blue, the other thing I want to get into, and I'll probably forget, but I'll get to it eventually, is we do need to talk about the personnel on defense, because there are some holes. They've got three really good safeties. They've got one really good linebacker whose absence in that fourth quarter against the Bears was a major factor in why they gave up 25 points, because I thought Edgerrin Cooper was having the best game of his season. Most impactful for sure. It seems like they're not bringing back Quay Walker. Their defensive line, they've got their star player coming off an ACL, and the other guy, who was not a high snap count guy, most likely departing. So Jonathan Gannon is not necessarily inheriting a full cupboard. So I want to get into that a little bit later as well. But we want to get some more of your calls first. There's a few spots open on the Carbless Talk and Text line, 844-770-3776. We'll get to more of your calls next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
We're on the Packers.
This 2 or 3 year window needs to yield a championship.
Because we're on Wisconsin sports.
When you bring back everybody, Mr. Policy is telling you we're winning a championship.
Nobody covers the green and gold like 100.5 ESPN.
The UW Credit Union member Mark Tauscher here. People ask me, T, why did you join UW Credit Union? Well, is it to keep your banking local? Is it the member first service? Great perks like early payday? Absolutely. But honestly, between us, it's Bucky. I can't say no to that face. If you love Wisconsin like I do, you just can't pay with anything else. Fandom makes us do crazy things, but this just makes sense. Become a UW Credit Union member and get your Bucky card like me. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions apply.
On the air, on demand, on social, on Wisconsin sports. Serving Wisconsin sports fans. This is 100.5 ESPN.
Prizes, flyaways, even cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting ESPNWisconsinContests.com.
That's ESPNWisconsinContests.com.
What's new at Zimbrick Chevrolet? A lot. A free car wash with every service, plus a brand new detail facility to keep your ride looking fresh all year long. Relax with coffee and snacks while you wait, and if you can't, grab one of their numerous service loaners, take the shuttle, or even get a lift on them. Plus, Zimbrick Chevrolet has the largest new Chevrolet inventory in southern Wisconsin, and you'll never overpay at Zimbrick Chevrolet. Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie, the name you can trust.
Hold your friends close and your rivals closer on Jim, Matt, and Molly.
Do you think Dad's got good Instagram game?
No. Instagram game? Oh my God.
Are you embarrassed by me?
Sometimes.
What's the most embarrassing thing your dad has ever done?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Existing.
Savage.
Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light. Weekdays 4 to 6 on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Madison on YouTube.
Every event tells a story, from the first impression to the final moments. Have someone guide your guests through every chapter the way you want the story told. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With a strong presence, great voices, and an award-winning team, trust us to guide, direct, and inform your guests through all the different chapters of the day. For fun, memorable entertainment for any event, please visit us at celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
Let's get the latest from Lambeau.
There's no second chances. There's no do-overs. We're definitely primed to take that next step. That's the focus and the goal.
This is your green and gold fix on 100.5 ESPN.
It takes a lot of hard work, dedication, sacrifice, pain to get to where you want to go.
This green and gold fix is driven by Metro Ford.
The Green Bay Packers have hired their new defensive coordinator, now former Cardinals head coach Jonathan Gannon. Gannon replaces Jeff Hafley, who left Green Bay last week to become the Miami Dolphins head coach after 2 seasons in Green Bay. Gannon was the head coach of Arizona for 3 seasons, but was fired after the 2025 regular season after finishing 3-14, and with an overall record of 15-36. Prior to Arizona, Gannon was the defensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles in 21 and 22, helping coach the Eagles defense to the Super Bowl in 2022. I'm Alex Stroh.
Purchase, finance, or service a new or pre-owned Ford at Metro Ford of Madison on the east side today.
It is the 25th anniversary of Bowling for Colons on Sunday, March 1st. Help us strike out colon cancer at UW Carbone Cancer Center. Come roll with us and form a team of 4 to 5. Choose from 9 bowling centers in the Madison area. Enjoy 3 games of bowling, shoe rental, and a cool anniversary t-shirt. Spare us your excuses. Hurry up. Lanes are filling quickly. Google Bowling for Colons 2026 to register your team now. Let's strike out cancer with Bowling for Colon 2026.
Proud partner of your Milwaukee Bucks. One call, that's all.
The Packers are hiring Jonathan Gannon as defensive coordinator.
You just said he parlayed a good year into being a head coach.
Right.
That's success, is it not?
He doesn't have a track record of being a successful defensive coordinator. He's not Dick LeBeau.
Reaction continues next on ESPN Madison.
Eight 844-770-3776. That is the Carbless Talk and Text line. Look, I want to be open to all people here today because none of us knows how Jonathan Gannon is going to succeed or fail. Just like we didn't know about Hafley. I don't remember what our show was like after they hired Hafley, but I'm pretty sure that both Tausch and I probably said something along the lines of, this guy's never been a defensive coordinator in the NFL. In fact, I think he only was a defensive coordinator at all for 1 year at Ohio State, and I believe his title was co-defensive coordinator. Turned out pretty well. I understand that the defense did not end the season well. I get it. But we just don't know. But if you get to feel however you want to feel, as Tausch's daughter Eleanor would say, feel your feelings, and we want to hear them. 844-770-3776, 844-770-3776. That is the Carbless Talk and Text line. Let's get to another call. Let's go to Carl in West Bend. We're huge in West Bend. Carl, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. How you guys doing?
We're good. What do you got?
Well, I think we all kind of scratched our heads a little bit with Hafley, like you said, and it turned out okay. What happens in the NFL every year, there's 5 to 7, 8, this year 9, whatever it was, head coach openings, and most of those coaches are filled by offensive and defensive coordinators that were all pretty decent. That's probably why they're getting the job, So then they get the job, and they're handed more responsibility. They're not, like in some cases, they're not calling the plays anymore. If you have a defensive coordinator or offensive coordinator, but some of them still call their own plays. But it seems like when they get handed a lot more responsibility, some of them fail, and then they end up back in the cycle again. They're back in that, this Raheem Morris is available, and Jim Leonhard and John Gannon and whatever. It's like he's done the job before. Am I okay with it? I guess I'm okay with it. I just don't understand why we wouldn't wait one more day. Basically, when the news came out and I seen it, it was basically, I don't know if it was Saturday or if it was Sunday morning when I seen it, but it's like you could wait 24 hours and interview Jim Leonhard. But that's more because, I'm a Wisconsinite, and it'd be cool to have somebody from Wisconsin do it, and he seemed like he's done it well. But I'm all right with somebody that's had success, and he had success in Philadelphia. So I don't know, and I don't know what kind of scheme they're going to run. Like you said, I don't know what they're running, 3-4, or 4-3 or whatever. But switching back and forth all the time is hard for the GM to pick the correct body type or players that you're going to need if you're switching. And we've had 4 defensive coordinators already, and it seems like the whole tenure of Goody's picks have been largely on defense, and we haven't been that successful at picking on defense. That's why we have to go out and give 2 first-round picks away to get a star defensive player. So I just think that, like you said, there's going to be some gaps in there, and how are they going to fill it if they're going to go switch the defense back again to a 4-3? And like I said, our history of picking top-tier defensive players is not very good.
Yeah, look, there's and great call, Carl. We appreciate it. I think that and I have not talked to Matt LaFleur about this, and I don't know when he's going to be at the podium. A lot of times he waits until the entire staff has been set, which is sometimes somewhat irritating. But I think I'm just predicting this, I don't know this, but I'm thinking one of the things he most liked about Gannon was that amorphous mentality of we're going to change to adapt around our personnel, because that is one of the things that Hafley held a lot of appeal with. I'm sure he heard that in the interview and was like, oh, that sounds like the guy that just left for Miami. So that probably helped his chances. Now, again, I want to get into, during the 10 o'clock hour, I do want to get into the personnel stuff because, there's a few folks in the YouTube comments saying, well, we've got Colin Oliver, we've got Baron Sorrell. I don't think we're that thin at defensive end. Well, you're probably going to lose Enigbare, right? Maybe they keep him. You're going to move on from Rashawn Gary, most likely. I don't want to assume anything, but I think so. And look, I like Colin Oliver too. The thing I love most about him is that when people were calling him Baby Micah, he said, no. I just want to be Colin Oliver, which, nice, right? That's what you want to hear from a guy. I like Baron Sorrell, not just because his dad was in our YouTube comments after they drafted him. We saw some pretty good things from him. But they were still rookies who played either very little or almost not at all as rookies. So I don't know what they have there. So I'm intrigued by that. But, Brian, I do want to ask to kind of take a break from the calls for a second. How much does scheme matter? Like, old Joe Philbin used to say it's about Jimmys and Joes, not X's and O's. But the X's and O's do matter, too.
Yeah, they matter because they have to line up a certain way and they have a certain job, right? Like, I mean, that's the reality of it. They have a job to do, and there's instruction of what they need to do and responsibilities and rules. Yeah, the personnel matters from like a player standpoint, like you said. Like it matters how good the players are and things like that. That's all very true. But you have to be able to execute what the coach is asking you to do in the scheme. So to me, the scheme is a big deal, and how the coach is able to adapt and run his scheme against certain offenses, and how he's able to mold the personnel that he has into a scheme and deploy it, right? Like, I think that's a big deal. I really do. Like, I think that's why you look at on the offensive side of the ball from a schematic standpoint, like the scheme it's not changed, but there's been changes to the scheme in some points from when Matt first got here to right now. You see different aspects of it in the run game. In the pass game, that changes as well because of the play action and things that come off of it. So, like, it's how coaches deploy their scheme with the talent that they have. It's a mix of both. Yes, it is up to the players to go out and do it well, obviously. Like, you have to have good players to go, get the job done and make the scheme look good. But there's something to be said about putting guys in the right place and asking them to do what you think they can, or like not giving them too much or having them do a job that they can't do, and then it throws off everything. Like, there's something to be said about that. And having a good coordinator that understands that, and he can see what he has, and he knows how to deploy guys in certain areas and what responsibilities he gives them, is important. It's kind of crucial, because if you didn't have that, you just have guys going up there lining up and, all right, guys, go play, and that probably wouldn't work. It just wouldn't work. So, and again, it goes. I mean, the last caller, he made some good points, and it's gonna continue to go back to kind of like what you said, Jason. One of the questions you're going to ask: why didn't you wait a day for Jim Leonhard? Why didn't you wait a day? And the caller even admitted it. He's like, it's because I'm a Wisconsinite, and he was from Wisconsin, and things like that. And like, I understand all that, but if you think you found the guy. Right, if you think you found the guy and you like this, LaFleur the way he liked Gannon, why would you just kick the can down the road another 24 to 48 hours? Right, like what's the point? It's one of those things that I that's why I'm on board with what the hire, and with Matt. If he liked his guy, he liked him, and like when Gannon's name started to kind of pop up potentially as an interview, I said to myself, I think he's a good coach. Like, I think that's a good hire. Like, I think that will be a good hire if that's who they decide to go with based on experience and past results. And then you watched how he played defense against the Green Bay Packers this year. They did, like, you have to look at, evidence-based results, who's calling the plays and how he's doing it, and he's done a good job. So, listen, I didn't listen to the program yesterday that you were on. I'm sure. I know Strophe was probably positive about it, if I had to take a guess. I bet Strophe was.
I think so.
I would guess that there were. Who else are you on with? I just want to.
So it's Greg Scalzo, and Kyle. And
I would guess that Scalzo is probably super negative. If I had to take a guess, it seems like that's kind of his take on it. He was probably super negative. And the thing is, like, what unicorn are you looking for as a coordinator, right? Like, what would have been the perfect hire? You like, if you think it's Leonhard, okay, so you have the college success that he had, right, which is great. Mm-hmm. But show me the NFL success. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking, like, we think this is a deep playoff run, Super Bowl caliber team, correct? Like, that's everyone's expectation, as it should be with the players that are on this team and the roster. That should be the expectation. So, as much as we all may like Leonhard and respect what he's done in the league and respect what he did in college and things like that, there's something to be said about hiring the guy that has proven it, that's gone to a Super Bowl with the defense, that's done all those things. Like, there's something to be said about that. And listen, Leonhard, he may get hired in a year or two and he may be great, which, hey, I mean, that may be the case. It may not be the case, right? Like, it may not be the case. You just don't know. But to say, like, yeah, he's going to be the guy because, the Broncos defense was really good. Well, Vance Joseph is calling the defense. Like, it is Vance Joseph's defense. It is his kind of his mold and things like that. So if you just think, because the Broncos were good and Jim Leonhard was the passing game coordinator there, that means he's going to bring that just to Green Bay. It's going to be perfect. Well, he wasn't in the situational calls. He wasn't making those decisions when it was 3rd and short or 3rd and 4 and what pressures to bring or what zones to run or is it man? Is like, he wasn't making those calls. That was Vance. So there's something to be said about the guys that have done it and have the experience doing it. Now, someone's going to give Leonhard a chance eventually, right? He is a good football coach. I'm not saying that he's not. But we think we want someone, or at least I think the fans want someone that has done it, prove it, like they've proven it. And that's why I like the Gannon hire. Like, I would have been okay with Raheem Morris too, if that was the hire. I would have been fine with that. Like, there's something to be said about guys that have done it and they repeatedly have done it. So, like, that's where I'm at with it. And it has nothing to do with me not liking Jim Leonhard. It's just that the guys that have called the plays and have done it. Like, and that's what you're looking for. Now, if these coordinators, or like if Gannon hadn't been on a winning defense and he's just been on a team that he's called defense on, they've been terrible, well, then that's a different discussion. But that's not the case. That's not the case in this situation.
We will get to more of your calls coming up, along with our brilliant insight from Bryan Bulaga. A couple other things we want to get to while we have Bryan today for a full 3 hours. Mike McCarthy is the new head coach in Pittsburgh. I want to talk about that. And I also want to talk about the personnel on defense. We'll get to that, but we want to get to your calls. So if you're on hold, stay there. We'll get to you next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch on 100.5 ESPN is brought to you by Everlight Solar. Save money, save the planet. Everlight Solar.
Mark Tauscher here to tell you a little bit more about Everlight Solar. We all know that electricity costs are on the rise. That's why you need to talk to my friends over at Everlight Solar. Their local team here in Madison is here to keep it simple. From your no-cost consultation to solar panel installation, the team at Everlight Solar will be with you every step of the way. Not only will they help you save money, but by switching to solar, you're also helping save the planet. Everlight Solar, a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. Check them out at everlightsolar.com.
Rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute brought to you by your Badgerland Chevy dealers, proud supporters of Badger Athletics. Go to BadgerlandChevy.com. Luke Fickle on Wilde and Tausch detailing Wisconsin's off-season tackling of the portal. Fickle on why he and his staff acted swiftly, resulting in a massive 32 transfer pickup.
You had to be, strategically placed in a way that, hey, when this thing opens, if we're not in a position to have a chance to sign guys immediately, you have a small window. We were aggressive and we had to grow beyond, our comfort zones.
Fickle's full interview available on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Get 0% interest for 4 years at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. With exclusive features and customized for every home, Pella provides the highest quality products at a price you can afford. Go to PellaWI.com. PellaWI.com.
In 1987, the Bucks took on the world and changed basketball forever.
At stake, basketball supremacy in the United States.
Bucks versus the World, narrated by Charlie Behrens, is the new season of Behind the Bucks podcast, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. It's the untold story of the 1987 McDonald's Open, when the Bucks became the first NBA team to face the Soviet Union. Listen now on Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and wherever you get podcasts.
What's better than cheering for the Packers with an ice-cold beer in your hand? Cheering for the Packers with an ice-cold beer in your hand that you got for 10% off. And when you get Packers checking from Associated Bank, you get even more. Like 10% off food and 10% off drinks on game day. Like that ice-cold beer in your hand. Plus 15% off Pro Shop gear. Only with Packers checking. Associated Bank. Bank of the Packers. Learn more at associatedbank.com/Packers. Member FDIC.
From color-changing alexandrite to shimmering zircon and everything in between at Chalmers Jewelers, you'll find high-quality, affordable, one-of-a-kind pieces. We source straight from the gem cutters, and we manufacture in-house from start to finish. As the manufacturer, we believe in truth in pricing. Never pay more for quality and stunning, beautiful jewelry. She's one of a kind, and so should her jewelry be. While others may send your jewelry dreams to someone else to make, with us, your dreams become reality with the help of our custom jewelers, with you involved the whole way. With a staff that has over 200 years of combined experience, why buy from a place that marks up jewelry made by the thousands? When you can buy direct from Chalmers for that one-of-a-kind piece that is better quality, often for less.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
and Madison.
Mark Tauscher here for Pizza Hut. I've been telling you for a while now how much I've loved Pizza Hut since I was a kid, and I love making new memories enjoying it with my family today. Looking for an easy win for lunch or dinner? Pizza Hut's My Hut Box lets you choose your entree. A personal pan pizza, a melt, or now, wings. Boneless or traditional wings start at just $7.99. One box, Tons of options all day, every day. Order on the Pizza Hut app or at pizzahut.com. Pizza Hut, feed good times. And remember, no one outpizzas the Hut.
We're on the Packers.
This 2 or 3 year window needs to yield a championship.
Because we're on Wisconsin sports.
When you bring back everybody, Mr. Policy is telling you we're winning a championship.
Nobody covers the green and gold like 100.5 ESPN.
I'm not saying that when we have Bryan Bulaga on the show, we're never on time. Because Lord knows we're never on time when we have Mark Tauscher on the show. But let's get to a couple of calls before we start the 10 o'clock hour. And it's 10:03.
Well, then what are you saying?
No one in this operation really pays close enough attention to the clock. We were off to a strong start, I thought. But when Bryan explains stuff and educates us, I'm not going to interrupt them to say, no, hold that thought. It's 9:47. Let's get a couple calls in, though. Let's go to Eric in Green Bay first. Eric, good morning. Be concise since we can't be.
All right, I'll do my best here. I guess for a little bit of background, I'm a UW grad, so that's probably going to tell you where I stand on this whole situation. And I don't hate the Gannon hire as much as I do just I'm just bumming out about the fact that we didn't have the opportunity to interview Leonhard. And for me, he kind of seems like the one that got away. Like, it's one of those rom-coms where, in fact, my wife and I just watched one this weekend where, like, the timing's just off. It's this will they, won't they the entire time. And at the end, they get together. And I thought that was finally going to be the case. The defensive coordinator position didn't work out for us the first time around. Obviously, he was in a position to potentially take over as the Badgers head coach. That went to Fickle, and it seemed like he was finally going to be coming home, especially with the Gannon interview going from Thursday into Friday and then not hearing any news Friday or Saturday. It seemed like we were going to give the guy a shot. So I kind of had my hopes up. And for me, when I just look at the guy's career, one of the reasons I was so passionate in wanting Jim Leonhard is he has overachieved everywhere. I think he's 5'8", went on to be a walk-on to a 3-time All-American, undrafted, having a 7-year career in the NFL. His entire career has been built on being smart and being in the right position. He doesn't have the God-given speed or size to catch up if he's not in the right spot. And I just think that that detail-oriented approach, and he took that into coaching. And when you look at what the Badger defenses had pumped out under him, again, I know it's college, but your Edwards, your Van Ginkels, Watts, Herbig, Chanel, Sanborn, these are guys who achieved at the next level, had always spoken glowingly about their time at Wisconsin and the way they elevated under Jim Leonhard. And I guess for me is when I look at his career from player to coach, even as assistant coach, it seems like he has never he's risen to every single level. He hasn't failed yet. And I just kind of wanted to ride that high rather than, again, I know it's the head coach with Gannon, but I loved the potential, and I just kind of wanted to be proven wrong, if anything, with Jim Leonhard. I wanted him to have the chance to continue to be great. And if he failed, then I could say, all right, that wasn't the best. And I wouldn't have, and I'm a LaFleur guy. When I looked at the landscape of the potential coaches that we had available, totally fine bringing him back. I think that was a smart call. I think the way everything went with how long it took Hafley to get the job in Miami, and then the way the interviews kind of strung out last week, it just seemed like all the breadcrumbs were finally kind of leading us to Jim Leonhard. So I tried to make it concise. I don't think I did a great job with that.
You did a terrible job, Eric, but we love you anyway. And
I have one super last point, though. With how young the Packers are.
What does this guy think he is?
What the heck?
I kept it shorter than some of the other callers. I'll say that. But the last thing is, with how young the Packers are, and with Jim Leonhard coaching college and loving to teach, I think that's one of the things that would have made it a great fit. I think with the way he elevated it, I think he would have been a perfect fit for your Evan Williams and your Edrin Coopers. And he's a teacher, and he works well with young talent. All right, I'll get off.
All right. Thank you for your service. Yeah, hey, Eric, feel your feelings. All the things you said are fine. As a Wisconsin alum, as a Jim Leonhard fan, All those things are fine. There is nothing wrong with feeling any of those things. But guess what? As you said, you wanted to give him a chance to prove you wrong.
Yes. And guess whose job it is then? LaFleur's.
Yes.
I mean, but you know what I'm saying? Like, guess who's getting canned? It's LaFleur. So he made he made a bunch of great points, and I understand them. But like, LaFleur's not taking the risk of potentially failing. Like, he doesn't want to take that risk of like, well, he's never done it. Because it's his job. We all know that, right? Like, I think everyone's been very clear and very, very critical of Matt, right? Like, and sure. he gets the Hafley hire right for the most part, right? I understand what happened in Chicago. Like, I get it. It wasn't good. Like, I get it from a defensive standpoint. But he gets the Hafley hire right, correct? The defense improves greatly. Okay, Hafley goes. If he gets this one wrong, right, and the defense is awful, although we don't know if it would have been with Leonhard or not. I'm not saying it would have. But, like, to say, like, I wanted to see if it would fail. Like, yeah, well, he can't really take that risk.
Matt LaFleur does not want to see if it's going to fail. No.
Yeah, he doesn't want to take that risk. He wants to see, like, okay, here's the data. Here it is. Like, this, he definitely made this work here, and this definitely worked here. Like, that's kind of what he's looking for, right? Like, and again, I continue to say it, and everyone expects this roster to be a deep playoff push team and a Super Bowl type team, right? Like, that's what we expect. And that, like, you have to have a guy that has done that. Gannon's done that. Like, that's where I'm getting at. Like, he's led a defense that has done that. And to me, that's what you hire on. Like, that's how you make the hire. And that's why you make the hire, because there's the facts there that he has led a defense that was very good, that got to a Super Bowl, and like to the caller's point, a bunch of talented young players that he coached at Wisconsin. Gannon did the same in Philly with that defense. What was it, multiple years ago? A lot of young talent that played really well. Like, so,
and look, you can flip it around and say maybe he's not a great defensive coordinator. They just plied him with a ton of really good talent, right?
Yes.
Jalen Carter's going to make any defensive coordinator a better defensive coordinator, right? All those guys he had to work with. I get that.
Yeah.
But for sure, he has the Pella. I mean, the dude is 43 years old, and I think his playing career ended because of a hip injury. I think he played at Louisville. But, like, the guy's been coaching for 20 years, and he's only 43. Like, and he started out in the NFL in the St. Louis Rams personnel department. So he also has a little bit of scouting experience. So, again, I am not staking my children's college funds on Jonathan Gannon being the second coming of Fritz Schirmer. I don't know what he's going to do. But at the same time, I don't think that this is an atrocious hire, as some may feel. And if we get out of our Jim Leonhard feelings, we should at least say, you know what? This may actually be a really, especially for where they're at. And again, there's a personnel issue here that I want to get into after we get to a couple more calls to top off the 10 o'clock hour. I learned something new over the weekend. I didn't know. I always tell you that Gruber Law Offices does a ton of stuff in our community and great with all the charitable causes. And yes, the most important thing if you've been injured is that they're going to win your case. So one call, that's all, 414-276-6666, 414-276-6666. But I didn't realize this. So Gruber Law Offices has a partnership with Wisconsin Athletics, which I knew that. But for every free throw that the Wisconsin men's basketball team makes at home this season, they make a donation to the UW Carbone Cancer Center. So, every time they make a free throw, that's more money for the UW Carbone Cancer Center from Gruber Law Offices. There were an estimated 36,520 new cancer cases in Wisconsin last year alone. So nearly all of us have been affected by this disease in our lifetimes. Paula had breast cancer several years ago. I know what this is like, and I know how important the UW Carbone Cancer Center is. So the fact that Gruber Law Offices supports them is phenomenal, and we appreciate that, and we appreciate our partnership with them as well. Gruber Law Offices, one call. That's all. We will call on the 10 o'clock hour to start right on time at 10:15 in 2 minutes, so stick around.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Get ready to unleash the dragon at Hard Rock Casino Rockford.
Introducing the region's very first $1 million Dragon Link slot game. Feel the thrill, chase the excitement, and win big. With jackpots soaring to $1 million, your chance to hit it big is here. Come experience the ultimate gaming adventure. Visit Hard Rock Casino Rockford today and play the $1 million Dragon Link slot game. Your legendary win awaits. Hard Rock Casino Rockford. Let's hard rock.
If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hi, this is Dave Kane. You're listening to Madison's Home of the Bucks, a good Karma brand radio station, 100.5 ESPN WTLX, Monona, Madison.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good morning, Madison and streamers everywhere. I'm Jesse Nelson, Sports Center, brought to you by Goodman's Jewelers, the diamond store of Madison for generations. Check them out, 220 State Street, and online at goodmansjewelers.com. The Green Bay Packers have hired a new defensive coordinator, Jonathan Gannon, set to take over the role in Titletown, reported yesterday morning up in Green Bay. Gannon spent the last 3 seasons as the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, where the team won a combined 15 games total over those 3 seasons. Not great. What was great was his work as defensive coordinator with the Philadelphia Eagles prior to being hired as the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. Plenty to dissect, and your reactions continue to weigh in here on Wilde and Tausch with Bryan Bulaga in as the special guest cousin sub of the day for Tausch. That's coming up next on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel. College basketball, rough Sunday for the Badgers, both men's and women. The men lose at home 73-71 to the USC Trojans. That snaps Wisconsin's winning streak. Badger women on the road fall 88-53 against rival Minnesota. Wilde and Tausch continues next.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
The 10 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch with Bryan Bulaga as our cousin sub today. Cousin subs, we believe in better. Jesse, can we get through 2 more calls so we can move forward?
Plenty of time.
Okay.
All the time in the world.
Yes, that's because we're going to preempt other programming so we can spend an extra hour with Bryan because he's got nothing to do other than bundle up for that cold front that's hitting Florida shortly. Let's get to these last 2 calls. Let's go to Doug in Milwaukee first. Doug, good morning. Welcome to Wilde and Tausch. How you doing?
Good morning, guys. Hey, Jason, to answer your question why I think they didn't wait for Jim Leonhard, my understanding is that Gannon was the only guy that LaFleur interviewed for 2 days.
Correct.
And I think in this, era of egos and relationships, it would be kind of awkward for him then to say, hey, I interviewed 2 days, but the guy that turned me down 5 years ago, I want to give him another chance. So why don't you, chill over the weekend, and I'll see if I want to hire him, and if not, I'll go back to you. I don't think that would be the start of a good relationship if we decide to go with Gannon, A. And B, Gannon, how would he take that? And the reason Jim Leonhard's not the defensive coordinator of the Packers is he turned down the chance to be the defensive coordinator of the Packers when he had that chance 5 years ago. So I just think that I'm not overly excited about the hire, but I think it's more of a safe hire, and we'll see what happens. And then I don't know what you're going to talk about on personnel, but it is about the Jimmies and Joes. And look at the Rams, special teams, right? Everybody made a big deal about how they fired their special teams coordinator mid-season, and yet the players are still the same. And so when push came to shove in crunch time, it's the players messed up, and their special teams cost them a chance to go to the Super Bowl. And so not to veer wildly, but that's my one criticism of Goody is his approach to special teams is I have my, starting 53, find 11 guys that can play special teams. You want to be a good special teams, you need to have a guy like a Matthew Slater who that's all he does is play special teams, or a guy that's all he can do is catch punts, not just fair catch punts, catch punts and return them. So I do think that it's as much players as coaches, especially when it comes to critical games.
I totally agree with you on the special teams personnel aspect, Doug, completely. So good point on that. The other thing, and I want to ask Bryan this before we get to Matt as our last call, and we'll check out a couple text messages after that. It feels to me, and I even went back and watched Matt LaFleur's press conference after the Arizona game, when they couldn't run the ball, they couldn't throw the ball, which really limits you offensively when you can't do either of those things. I mean, 262 total yards of offense in that game. They still won the game. Kudos to them. And maybe they were also tired from having their flight delayed because they needed a different plane and whatever else. But the bottom line is, Jonathan Gannon and their defense was really good against them. They gave them a chance to win with a bad football team, speaking of personnel. So I'm wondering, Bryan, you've been around Matt, you've been around all kinds of coaches. How much does what a guy does and what a defense does or what a team does against you and your scheme and your team, how much of an influence does that have? Because it feels to me like if they had not had the Cardinals on the schedule this year, he still probably would have interviewed Gannon, because Gannon was probably the best available at this moment defensive coordinator on the market. But I'm guessing that it had a lot to do with what he was able to do against the Packers offense. Am I wrong to think that way?
No, you're not wrong to think that way, because how do you think people, judge players when they go to free agency? It's based off how they did against them, against their best players, and like how they schemed against them and things like that, or how they played against their scheme and their top players. So it's the same way that GMs evaluate players as well. Now it's not always like for like that you play that player, then you go out and buy that player.
Sure.
But certainly the Packers have had experience against Micah Parsons. Surely they had experience against Xavier McKinney. They had those, they saw that on tape, and they saw what they did to their offense or defense, whatever it may be, right? They've seen that. Those are things that are easy to see. So there's no doubt that Matt put that into perspective when making this coaching hire. How did this guy scheme against me? And how well did he do? And what did he do to defend against us? And how was the chess match? How did it go? Because you look at the offenses that they face now, right? Chicago's. That Ben Johnson is a chess player when it comes to offense. He does things that he shouldn't be doing in certain situations, and he does them. And defensive coordinators have to be able to react to that in real time and do that. And then you look at offenses like the Rams and offenses like the Seahawks and these offenses that are very similar to Matt's. How did this coordinator do against those teams? And I think you look at that as well. Obviously, the Cardinals were a bad football team. There's no doubt about that, right? Offensively, you said it. Right. Their personnel stunk. It was this, it was that. But Matt has a lot of tape on how that defense that the Cardinals played against the Rams, against the Seahawks, who are the top dogs in the NFC. That's just what it is, right? You get a lot of tape on how he schemed against those teams and the successes and failures, right? I mean, not every game was perfect when you play those good teams because your personnel stinks. But there was probably success the Cardinals had defensively against those teams. And you look at that, and you're trying to chase down the top dogs in the conference. And right now that's Seattle, and that's the Rams, who were both in that division. So you take that knowledge with everything against your own experience, and you go, this is the guy. This is the guy. He's very knowledgeable about what we have to be able to do defensively to beat these teams. And he's done. And again, I continue to repeat it because I don't want it to fall upon deaf ears. He's done it. He's taken his defenses to Super Bowls, and he's called plays in a Super Bowl, and he's done all that. Like that carries a lot of weight. It carries a ton of weight, and when you lose a guy that you trusted a lot in Halfley, you don't want to bring someone in that hasn't had those experiences yet. And I get it, because this is mostly on Jim Leonhard, right? Like that, I understand that. Mm-hmm. His last experiences were in college, making those decisions, and we all know this. Those are massive differences between college play calling and NFL play calling, right? I mean, there's a massive difference in it, right? Because I'm not standing for Phil Parker, right, at Iowa, but why isn't Phil Parker ever? No. Yeah, here we go, Jesse. Just one of the best defenses in college football every single year. No, here we go.
Which they have to have because their offense stinks so often. Yeah,
I don't even need to say it anymore.
Yeah, but they did score, almost 40 points in their bowl game against the great SEC team. Jesse, keyword bowl game. Bowl game, keyword.
Not sure what those are these days.
Yeah. So, my question is, why doesn't Phil Parker get called for D coordinator jobs? He seems to do a great job at it, because as much as I love Phil Parker, Phil Parker still there. He was there when I was there. I love Phil Parker. There's a difference. There's a huge difference in doing it at this level and then at, the college level. And that was your last experience. And obviously they hit a home run with Halfley because that was the last time he did it, and they brought him here and it worked out great. But that's a gamble. That's a gamble that paid off. And now Matt looked at it, we need a for sure. I need someone that's done it for sure. I can't replace a good coordinator with someone that I'm not sure about. And that, to me, and like the caller said, 5 years ago, he told Green Bay, sorry, no thanks. I'm out. No, thank you.
It's true.
And that's, hey, man, coaches remember stuff like that. You can say what you want, but everyone says that only players have chips on their shoulder and they remember what people said to them or did, might have wronged them in some way. Okay. Coaches are no different. They're no different either. They remember these things. And I'm not saying Jim Leonhard did LaFleur wrong, but when you offer a job to not a hometown, but an in-state guy that there's a lot of history and background, and it would have been a great story, obviously. And he says no. Okay, well, moving on.
Right. And by the way, I know Ron Wolf thought this way at times, even though he drafted Tausch. And I know that Ted Thompson thought this way at times. They were always reluctant to draft Wisconsin guys because they felt like that would put more pressure on them. They were home in-state guys. Now, again, didn't seem to bother Tausch. He seemed to do okay. But generally speaking, maybe there's something to that too. Again, we'll find out. I would also add, and I don't know this for a fact, this is just my theory knowing how the league works, I'm guessing there was plenty of back channel communication. And I'm sure that there was some measure of, hey, if we do this, is this something you're really interested in? Because I do think Matt LaFleur likes Jim Leonhard. I do think that. Again, unlike me, I don't think he's a grudge holder. So I think that he was genuinely open to Leonhard being the next defensive coordinator, not just because he turned him down. But
for all we know, Leonhard could have told them back channeling, not this year.
Right.
I'm not ready this year.
We don't know that. Leaving, and I want to stay here, and Sean Payton loves me, and I like it in Denver, or whatever he might have. We don't.
Yes,
know.
exactly.
That doesn't mean that people who are asking that question are out of line to ask it, because and we will ask it, and we'll see what Matt LaFleur says. I don't know how he'll answer. Let's get to one last call, then we'll shift gears. Let's go to Matt on the road, who has driven he's driven probably 400 miles while he's been waiting on hold. Matt, good morning. How you doing, buddy?
Jason, good morning. Brian, good morning. I haven't driven quite that far, but it was about a good 40-some minutes or what have you. But it's the beauty of hands-free, right? And
exactly.
Now I'm to my destination and parked. So
Hopefully the
So
phone, not
here's
the
what
car.
I would like to add. What's that?
Never mind. Lame joke.
Jesse!
I'm sorry, Matt.
You ruined his rhythm.
The glory of hands-free. I said, hopefully the phone and not the car.
That was weak. All right, Matt.
Correct.
I apologize on Jesse's behalf. What do you got on your mind?
All right, guys. Well, thank you. So, in getting, not necessarily getting into the debate here, right, between Leonhard and or Gannon or Leonhard and fill in the blank, right? But I think it was Bryan that mentioned about experience, and I kind of feel like if this was LaFleur's second or third year, that maybe this is an opportunity where they might have waited, right? Because it maybe be a little more of a reset kind of team, depending on, right, moving on from a quarterback situation or just whatever it might be. And the fact that Gannon, being 43, like you were saying, 20-plus years already coaching, the guy's been a head coach, a successful defensive coordinator. Yes, they didn't win a Super Bowl, but Gannon understands that in order for him to be looked at in the future as a head coach again and to get an opportunity, man, what better chance than to go to Green Bay, who also has, let's just say, a 2 to 3 year championship window mentality. So it lines up from the team perspective, Gannon's perspective, that, hey, I don't have to worry about everything of being a head coach. I can come in here and I can kick some you-know-what with a defense that we do have pieces, some tweaks, and we'll see where it goes from there. This is the last point that I wanted to make, though, is I believe, now I don't know if it's 100% or not, smoke and mirrors, but with the fact that both John and Jim Harbaugh names were mentioned as far as saying that they each were looking to interview Gannon. As they say, you got to strike when the iron's hot. And the fact that they had Gannon in for not 1 but 2 days, I think that was also kind of playing some defense, right, away from the Harbaughs. And if the Harbaughs are thinking of Jonathan Gannon in high regard that way, why shouldn't the Packers be as well? So on that note, gentlemen, I will wrap up the callers for today. Great show. Thanks for taking my call, and I will listen from here.
Drive safely and make sure you use your hands on the wheel, Jesse would like to say, apparently. Thanks for the call. Yeah, I think he makes a bunch of great points, and I'm glad he brought up Harbaugh because I want to segue into Mike McCarthy getting the Steelers head coaching job and our biased opinions about Mike. We admit our biases here. Yep. You played for him. He was your coach for most of your career. I obviously covered his entire career, but I'm so intrigued by the way people have responded to his hiring. It feels a little bit like Jonathan Gannon's hiring, but worse.
Yeah.
So we'll get into that coming up. Bryan Bulaga is our cousin sub of the day. Cousin subs, we believe in better. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Mark Tauscher here to tell you a little bit more about Everlight Solar. We all know that electricity costs are on the rise. That's why you need to talk to my friends over at Everlight Solar. Their local team here in Madison is here to keep it simple. From your no-cost consultation to solar panel installation, the team at Everlight Solar will be with you every step of the way. Not only will they help you save money, but by switching to solar, you're also helping save the planet. Everlight Solar, a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. Check them out at everlightsolar.com.
Breaking news on ESPN Madison is presented by Metro Ford and Metro Kia of Madison. Find the Metro family of auto dealers online or see them in person on the east side of Madison today.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Happy New Year and Happy New Engagement. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. You have heard me talk about corporate, fundraising, and even casino events, but we are also amazing wedding DJs. Never cheesy and always the perfect fit for the perfect couple. Please let us help you narrate your wedding day love story while playing an amazing soundtrack that will rock your dance floor. Create lifelong memories of your one special day. Do it right and do it with celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
Hi, this is Lee, inviting you to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton. We got a great happy hour every day of the week from 4 o'clock to 7, and our patio during the summer is open too. If you're getting married, special occasion, a birthday, anniversary, or even a business meeting, we've got all the accommodations right here at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. You work hard and sometimes you're not sure what you want to do, where you want to spend your money. I want to encourage you to come into Ruth's Chris Steakhouse and say hello. It'd be a pleasure to meet you.
4 years. That's enough time to earn a college degree, to serve a full term as a president, to train for something big and become someone new.
You bet, and get 0% interest for 4 years at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, so you can invest in your home and in life's biggest moments. With exclusive features and customizations, Pella offers the highest quality products at a price you can afford.
Aim high when setting your New Year's resolution and imagine what you can do in 4 years when you finance your home project with Pella. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Chalmers Jewelers is hosting our annual Wedding Band Trunk Show, and you don't want to miss it.
Join us February 20th in Madison and the 21st and 22nd in Middleton.
Our wedding band vendors will be in-house, bringing their entire collections, featuring styles and designs you won't normally see.
This is your chance to find the band that tells your story. But appointments are filling up fast, so reserve your spot today.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
and Madison.
At Carbon World Health, feeling your best isn't a luxury, it's a lifestyle. From advanced aesthetics and rejuvenating med spa treatments to personalized wellness care, everything there is designed around you. Whether you're refreshing your look, boosting your confidence, or investing in total body wellness, Carbon World Health combines medical expertise with a spa-like experience you'll love. Discover the med spa Sun Prairie is talking about. Book your consultation today at Carbon World Health, where wellness meets results.
Join the Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock, for Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Get the information you need as you plan for retirement. That's Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Income Strategies, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
The Packers are hiring Jonathan Gannon as defensive coordinator.
You just said he parlayed a good year into being a head coach.
Right.
That's success, is it not?
He doesn't have a track record of being a successful defensive coordinator. He's not Dick LeBeau.
Reaction continues next on ESPN Madison.
So I'm a little bit torn because I would like to get to a few texts from the Carbless Tongue and text line, but the last time Jesse used his mic, he interrupted Matt to say that he was hoping he wasn't doing hands-free driving. Which I understand not every joke lands, Jesse, but
that is a thing these days.
Well, you should have asked. Are you in a Tesla? Or are you in a? Are you?
Yeah, that would have been a lot better of a joke. Yeah, good one. Yeah.
Well, it would have at least put some context to what you were saying. I mean, I'll say.
I love your
I'll say that.
The two of you.
I'll say there would have been at least some context to the joke. It just, but all right.
I'm not saying it was good, okay?
Good, because it wasn't. Jesse, the floor is yours.
Oh, you
what do
want
you got
text
for
here?
texts?
Okay, I got text. Well, that's okay.
What the heck?
All right, so
wait a minute. If you're watching on YouTube right now, Jesse, put up the text. And 2 empty seats in the Everlight Solar.
I've rattled them. I've rattled them.
So these are Tausch and I's seats from the show on Friday.
Wait, leave that up. I got
to
get a picture of this so I can then post it on our social media. Here we go.
So
there it is, right
that's
there.
That's where Tausch was sitting, and that's where I was sitting. And
nice work.
We
God, you're
forgot
a
to
pro.
reset that one here this morning. Sorry.
Are you doing hands-free posting too?
Some would say I should be hands off the rest of this show. Cody in Pittsburgh I'm feeling meh about the Gannon hire. It's not necessarily based on his resume, but more the lack of a culture change that I feel Green Bay needs. I'm looking for more biting the kneecap and dragging the opponent out to open water on defense. Gannon doesn't strike me to be that type of guy, so I wonder what will change from last season. Different name, same philosophy? Cody in Pittsburgh.
Great. Now, Cody, not Colby. Thank you for your question. We appreciate your loyalty to the show. I'm going to turn this over to Bryan because here's the thing that I would just ask in conjunction with that text. Why does everyone want all tough guys and they don't want smart guys?
That's a great question because I think you need to have a good blend of both.
Right.
To be honest with you, I mean, you got to have a good blend of both, and you got to be able to balance that. And again, I don't know much about Jonathan Gannon. No one knows how he is from just a court. Everyone just sees that speech that he gave as a head coach in front of an entire room, and he's trying to address everybody, right? And people are like, I don't know how this is going to work. It's like, well, we don't really know how he is as a D coordinator. Were there any film of him? Was there any cameras in the room when he was talking to the Philly defense? Like,
yeah, probably. I didn't see that. By the way, I did text with my buddy Darren, who covers the Cardinals, and he did say they were 3-4 all the way. Obviously, a lot of sub package too. But so your point that you made early in the show is important to see how that's going to morph when he gets to Green Bay. But please continue.
But we don't know how he is when it's just him in his element in a defensive room. We have no idea how that looks like. We have no idea how he interacts with these guys. We have no idea the messaging. We just don't know that. So, I mean, we can say maybe he doesn't strike me like that type of guy. That doesn't mean he isn't cutthroat. We don't know that. And we obviously saw some clips from this year where he gets a little hot. He runs a little hot.
He punched his own guy.
Yeah, he runs a little hot.
Pretty fired
and if that's not dragging you out to water, because I don't know what is. I've never seen a head coach do that. I've never seen a coach do that. So
Campy never wound up and slugged you.
No, that never happened. And Campy was about as passionate as it got. So I'm just
tough guy.
I'm just saying, yeah. So a part of me looks at Gannon as a little bit of a brainiac. A part of me looks at him that way, that he is a very intuitive, deep thinking type of coordinator, which is okay. That's okay that he looks at defense maybe the way Ben Johnson looks at offense. And now you have these chess matches, or like McVay looks at offense and things like that. That's okay to have those chess matches. You want a guy that is maybe thinking like that way far ahead, and he's programming every situation in his brain. So you have to understand that we don't know how this guy's going to be. And you got to at least give him some time to come in and let's see, right? I mean, and again, I would have felt the same way about Raheem Morris. I would have felt the same way about who was the other candidate besides Leonhard? It was Raheem Morris.
So it was Christian Parker, who got the Cowboys job, by the way.
Yep.
Right?
And Al Harris.
Al Harris. Yep. And Durante Jones was also in the mix. Yep.
Yeah. So I obviously I know Al Harris. And he's done a great job with every stop he's gone, kind of the way he's coached the DBs and things like that. But you could say the same thing about all these guys. How are they going to be? Well, I don't know how. I mean, it seems like they're energetic and they're fired up, but how do we know that they're going to be that way when they get in front of the room? You don't know. So I understand the point that's being made and the change of culture, but I thought people liked the Halfley culture on the defensive side of the ball. I thought that was good.
Players did for sure, no doubt.
Yeah. So I thought people liked that. So I guess I'm a lot of mixed messaging, I guess, from people is what I'm is what I'm taking, right? Like that's what I'm gathering here from this is a lot of mixed messaging of, and it all just comes back down to, in my opinion, and maybe I'm narrow-minded on it, is they wanted Leonhard, and that's what it comes down to. Which again, I understand everyone's feelings. I get it. Like Jason, you've been saying the whole show, like feel your feelings and things like I get it. I understand it. But like you got to be willing to see past that and what this guy, Gannon, that is, what he's done in his time as a D coordinator and be willing to see what he's got. Because obviously Matt and Goody and those guys thought very highly of him. They thought very highly of him, and it was a good fit, and they went with the hire. So that's what I'm looking at from that standpoint.
We will shift gears to the Mike McCarthy conversation after Jesse tells us about how great Hard Rock Casino Rockford is, even when you think you have a bunch of winning tickets and they turn out to not be winning tickets.
Old T and I went down to Hard Rock Casino Rockford. Jason was there with us back in May and June. We put in a few tickets that we felt pretty good about for the season. It did not pan out down the home stretch, but that's okay because we still had a ton of fun. I had a ton of fun going with Barry Alvarez and Tarek Saleh and Derek Engler and hitting up the UU Noodle Bar and playing craps and all the fun things that you can do at Hard Rock Casino Rockford, featuring over 175,000 square feet of gaming and entertainment space, including more than 1,300 slot machines, 50 live table games, a sports book, and a rock shop. And we talk about the food all the time. Ew, it's so good. If you're hungry, guests can enjoy diverse dining options at the Hard Rock Cafe, Council Oak Steaks and Seafood, Bricked Italian Kitchen. I think that's the next one I'm going to hit up when we're there. The UU Noodle Bar is fantastic. Street tacos, Constant Grind, the coffee shop. It's all good. Hard Rock Casino also showcases a museum-worthy collection of more than 500 pieces of authentic music memorabilia, including items from artists like Prince, Cheap Trick, Eddie Vedder, the Blues Brothers, and Taylor Swift. Not Dolly Parton, as much as Tausch likes to tell us about Dolly Parton, wanting her to be at the Hard Rock Casino Rockford. Nothing from her there yet. Hard Rock Casino Rockford, a premier entertainment destination just off I-90 in Rockford, Illinois, less than an hour drive from the greater Madison area. Check it out, Hard Rock Casino Rockford.
We'll shift gears with Bryan Bulaga, our cousin sub of the day. Next, it's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, driven by Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie on 100.5 ESPN. See their full inventory at ZimbrickChevrolet.com.
The UW Credit Union member Mark Tauscher here. People ask me, old T, why did you join UW Credit Union? Well, is it to keep your banking local? Is it the member first service? Great perks like early payday? Absolutely. But honestly, between us, I mean, it's Bucky. I can't say no to that face. If you love Wisconsin like I do, you just can't pay with anything else. Fandom makes us do crazy things, but this just makes sense. Become a UW Credit Union member and get your Bucky card like me. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions apply.
Let's get the latest from Lambeau.
There's no second chances. There's no do-overs. We're definitely primed to take that next step. That's the focus and the goal.
This is your green and gold fix on 100.5 ESPN.
It takes a lot of hard work, dedication, sacrifice, pain to get to where you want to go.
This green and gold fix is driven by Metro Ford.
The Green Bay Packers have hired their new defensive coordinator, now former Cardinals head coach Jonathan Gannon. Gannon replaces Jeff Hafley, who left Green Bay last week to become the Miami Dolphins head coach after 2 seasons in Green Bay. Gannon was the head coach of Arizona for 3 seasons, but was fired after the 2025 regular season after finishing 3-14, and with an overall record of 15-36. Prior to Arizona, Gannon was the defensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles in 21 and 22, helping coach the Eagles defense to the Super Bowl in 2022. I'm Alex Strofe.
Purchase, finance, or service a new or pre-owned Ford at Metro Ford of Madison on the east side today.
Ben Brust here for the Princeton Club. If you're looking for your better tomorrow, you know where to go. It's the Princeton Club. If you're looking to grow, it's also the Princeton Club, because they will cheer for you in all areas of your life. The best way to do that is to start a foundation of having a healthy body, and your growth will start from there. With the cleanest health clubs in Wisconsin, they provide everything for you to reach your goals. Join before January 31st to get the lowest rates of 2026. Make sure you join the Princeton Club for a better tomorrow.
The Bucky Badger Student Mascot Fund was created to support the amazing student athletes who bring the best mascot in the world to life. Hey, my name is Stacy Bruner. I was Bucky Badger from 2010 to 2014. My most memorable sports moment was running out the flag at the 2013 Rose Bowl versus Stanford. Your donation will help fund new scholarships to ensure that the rich tradition of Bucky lives on. Learn more at supportbucky.org. That's supportbucky.org.
Get the beat of the Bucks straight from a fan favorite and Bucks legend.
Welcome to the fantastic voyage. Marcus Johnson, the captain of this vessel.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson, a Bucks Plus audio production.
My first mate, Chris Johnson, the only father and son tandem.
Your weekly pulse on the Milwaukee Bucks and conversations with the biggest names in basketball. This week on the pod, Marcus and Chris go inside Bucks training camp. Find Here District now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, or wherever you get your podcast.
I was afraid that college would be like high school. I worried about starting over and feeling alone. But I'm so glad I didn't let that stop me. At Madison College, I'm part of a community, and I've never felt alone. My instructors have been incredible, and I made so many friends and connections. My advice to others, don't let your fears stop you. There's more to your story at Madison College.
Visit madisoncollege.edu to get started.
Chevy trucks have you covered when the road takes you from smooth sailing to Chevy Colorado will eat up some of the toughest terrains with 5 available drive modes. And Silverado and Silverado HD have the muscle to take you out for some serious. With multiple engine options and impressive towing, while Silverado EV is the perfect combo of performance and capability.
Nice.
Making it a snap to hitch up this electric truck and hit the road. Wherever the road leads, Chevy trucks are right there with you. See your Badgerland Chevy dealer today.
It's time to close the gap for Luke Fickell.
A lot of people have done some things to close some bit of the gap. Now our job as coaches, our job as a team, and our job as players is to find a way to close the rest of that gap.
Find Fickell's full interview with Wilde and Tausch, available on the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Wilde and Tausch rolls on with Bryan Bulaga, our cousin sub of the day. Cousin subs, we believe in better. This did not get nearly as much attention as it might have because the Packers hired a defensive coordinator, 16 hours later, felt like. Mike McCarthy is the new coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Steelers fans do not seem excited either on social media. Now, again,
very frustrating.
We have to factor in the negativity of social media baseline, right? It's a negative place largely.
We'll have less sleep and we'll be grumpy.
But, Brian, what was your reaction when you saw the news that your old ball coach, the man who was your coach from your rookie season through, 9 of your 10 seasons in Green Bay, is now at age 62, 63, is back in the game and coaching his hometown team?
Yeah, I was excited for him because I think as great that of the job that Green Bay is, and then you go to Dallas, like those are historic franchises, and obviously so is Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Just 3 historic franchises that he's now beginning to coach. I think the Pittsburgh job probably was his dream job as a kid, right? When he got into the coaching ranks, being the Pittsburgh Steelers head coach is probably a dream job. He's from there. He's Pittsburgh tough. He talks about, it's not Pittsburgh. It's Pittsburgh. It's Pittsburgh. It's Pittsburgh. Yeah, that's it. He loves the city of Pittsburgh. It's like it's in his DNA, man. And he's all about it. And so I was happy. I was happy for him, and I'm excited for him to get that opportunity again because he's another guy that his resume is really good, and for some reason it's like he gets other people get opportunities and he doesn't even get mentioned. And this one, People may say it came out of the blue or what it may be, but he's got a proven track record, and it's a winning track record, right? I mean, you could say what you want when he did in Dallas. Dallas still has problems, and they can't even make the playoffs.
Right.
Right, so something to be said about that too. But I'm happy for him. I'm excited for him that he's back home. He gets to coach a franchise that obviously he has a lot of admiration for. There's going to be challenges for him there. We all know that. Like, that's another roster that has a bunch of holes in it. But I'm excited for him. I'm excited for him to get another job, and I really hope he does fantastic. I really do.
And by the way, he was there 5 years. They went to the playoffs 3 of those 5 years. They won the division twice. I understand he did not win enough playoff games. He was 1-3 as the Cowboys head coach in the playoffs. But it's not like they were dog crap while he was there.
No.
And they have all kinds of dysfunction in Big D, and he somehow navigated that. My question that I want to get into next, Brian, just because I want to go quick briefly here to get caught up, I want you to think about this. Tell me why Mike McCarthy is not viewed the same way as John Harbaugh. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't want it to be about the fact that he's a heavier set fellow, which is Tausch's theory, but maybe that's part of it. We're going to talk about that coming up because I want to get Brian's reaction because you played for this guy. You know this guy. And everybody thought, oh, my God, John Harbaugh is available. Look at their resumes. Tell me the difference because I don't see it. We'll do that next after I tell you about Associated Bank with the best customer service in the industry. And you know what I love to say about them. It's not branches that make a bank local, it's roots. And their roots are deep here in Wisconsin. Plus, you get early pay from your employer up to 2 days early with your direct deposit. You get credit monitoring to make sure you're ready to make those big purchases, like when we got our Steinhoffel's furniture. And you've got fraud protection. Somebody tried to steal my identity. I don't know why anybody would want to be me, but that's fine. They had my back. They made sure all my money was secure and the girls' college funds were secure and everything else. So go to AssociatedBank.com to find out more. More with Bryan Bulaga, our cousin sub of the day. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Coming up on Monday's edition of the Rich Eisen Show, Super Bowl 60 is set. We'll talk about what happened on championship weekend and what might happen next. It's also Senior Bowl week. Start talking draft. That's on the Monday Rich Eisen Show on Disney+, the ESPN app, and ESPN Radio.
Mark Tauscher here for Zimbrick Chevrolet on Main Street in Sun Prairie. Well, lately there have been a lot of things said about the average cost of new cars, and sometimes those numbers can sound pretty big. But if you're concerned about not being able to afford a new SUV at Zimbrick Chevrolet, I'm here to say you can. Head to ZimbrickChevrolet.com right now, and you can use the filters to search the vehicle inventory by price to see what I mean. Select vehicles under $30,000, and you'll find a new 2026 Trax starting at just over $25,000. Also, a new 2026 Chevy Trailblazer starting just under $26,000. And the family-friendly 2026 Chevy Equinox starts at $29,999. with over 25 different options to choose from. If you expand the search up to $35,000, the list gets even longer, so there are still a lot of great SUVs that offer affordability. Check out all the great options, including searching by price, at ZimbrickChevrolet.com or stop in on Main Street in Sun Prairie to meet with their great team. The bottom line is, you never overpay at Zimbrick Chevrolet.
Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute is brought to you by Steinhoffel's. All January at Steinhoffel's, test rest any mattress. Get a $20 lunch gift card, and Steinhoffel's donates $20 to Special Spaces Wisconsin, only at Steinhoffel's. Luke Fickle on Wilde and Tausch detailing Wisconsin's off-season tackling of the portal. Fickle on why he and his staff acted swiftly, resulting in a massive 32 transfer pickup.
You had to be, strategically placed in a way that, hey, when this thing opens, if we're not in a position to have a chance to sign guys immediately, you have a small window. We were aggressive, and we had to grow beyond, our comfort zone.
Get 0% interest for 4 years at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. With exclusive features and customized for every home, Pella provides the highest quality products at a price you can afford. Go to PellaWI.com. PellaWI.com.
When a heart stops, the clock starts. You are the first responder until help arrives. In that moment, 4 minutes equals brain damage. 6 minutes equals too late in an emergency. The first responder is you. We need you. Will you be ready? Learn CPR. Visit heart.org/nation. That's heart.org/nation.
From color-changing alexandrite to shimmering zircon and everything in between at Chalmers Jewelers, you'll find high-quality, affordable, one-of-a-kind pieces. We source straight from the gem cutters, and we manufacture in-house from start to finish. As the manufacturer, we believe in truth in pricing. Never pay more for quality and stunning, beautiful jewelry. She's one of a kind, and so should her jewelry be. While others may send your jewelry dreams to someone else to make, with us, your dreams become reality with the help of our custom jewelers, with you involved the whole way. With a staff that has over 200 years of combined experience, why buy from a place that marks up jewelry made by the thousands? When you can buy direct from Chalmers for that one-of-a-kind piece that is better quality, often for less.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
And Madison.
Mark Tauscher here for Iron Jock. If you're still working on your New Year's resolutions, right now, congrats! You've officially made it past Quitter's Day. More than 70% of people give up by now, so take your win. Iron Jock wants to reward you. From now through January 27th, our listeners can get 30% off any Iron Jock purchase over $75 when you use promo code ESPN30. And you also score a free 3-pack of Iron Jock socks at $25 value. Iron Jock helps you look good, smell good, and keep showing up.
Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The ESPN Wisconsin app. Customizable just to you. Find the ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores today.
One of them is 63 years old. The other is 62. One of them has a career regular season record of 180 wins and 113 losses. The other has a career record of 174 wins, 112 losses, and 2 ties. One of them has a career playoff record of 13-11. The other has a career playoff record of 11-11. One of them won a Super Bowl. The other won a Super Bowl. One of them is John Harbaugh. The other is Mike McCarthy. And, ooh, John Harbaugh's available. The Ravens fired him. Mike McCarthy. What? Why should I be excited about Mike McCarthy? He's a retread. Brian, help me understand. I don't get it.
I really don't. I don't get it either, to be honest. I really don't understand. And my only thought, and this is my only thought, and it doesn't go to his Dallas days. It goes to the Green Bay days that we didn't win more Super Bowls with Aaron. That's it. That's the only thing that I can put my finger. That's it. And if that's what you're judging it on, okay. Because then what's to be said about, I guess, Harbaugh, who had an MVP in Lamar Jackson how many times, and the great defenses that they had, and they only won 1 Super Bowl. So I don't understand. But I can only go back to that we didn't win more Super Bowls in Green Bay with Aaron. And sure, you if you want to blame Mike, you can, but there's players that go, and I say this even today, right, about Matt and all the coaches. The players go on the field. We go on the field and we play. It's not like Mike is on a Madden controller controlling a computer game, and that's who decides that goes to Super Bowls. The players go out there and do it. So we're part to blame too. I mean, you got to put this thing in full context and look at it as a whole. So hearing the stats, knowing the appearances and this and that, I mean, they're very, very, very identical. So to me, that's all it could be. That's all it could be, is based on that.
Jesse, does this bother you as much as it bothers me?
No. I think Aaron Rodgers and the way that it ended for McCarthy in Green Bay is different than how it ended for Harbaugh or for Sean Payton in their previous stops, because Payton's the other one that gets lumped into this conversation too. It's just when you have a quarterback or a fan base that's tired of your coach and you're out advocating that you want to move on from him, that it's time for a change, as opposed to the organization recognizing that. Like, it's just a different narrative that gets shaped around it. Dallas kind of did the same thing because the expectations are always crazy in Dallas, and it just didn't work out there. So twice you have fans of a team that have said we're ready to move on from him, as opposed to John Harbaugh, who was with one team, and they said, well, yeah, he's been really good for us, but it might be time. It's not the same as saying, we want him out of here. We need someone new to get in and get the best out of Rodgers before it's too late. Yeah, so I understand where fans are coming from with it, but when you look at the raw numbers, you read them off. I've seen the tweets about it. Different outlets have all shared similar side-by-side comparisons for all-time records and playoff records and Super Bowls won, and yeah, they're all very similar. So I don't have a problem with the narrative. I think it's great that the Steelers recognize that Mike McCarthy's still a great head coach and that he can still hopefully find success in Pittsburgh, because I think everyone here is pulling for him.
Again, I just think that there are plenty of arguments for both of those other coaches you referenced, right? I mean, Sean Payton got the Broncos to the AFC Championship game, and he had to start his backup quarterback. I would never dispute that he's not a good coach. He is a very good coach. In fact, he was the other finalist when Ted hired Mike McCarthy. So Ted had two damn good coaches as his finalists. I'm just saying that their resumes are not vastly different, and I think when Tausch talks about branding, like, look, no offense to John Harbaugh, but Mike McCarthy had success with two different franchises, right? Harbaugh was in Baltimore the whole time, a special teams coordinator for the Eagles, and then 18 years in one place. So, again, I'm not saying that John Harbaugh is not a good coach. It's fascinating to me how we just view people differently when essentially their accomplishments are the same. And oh, by the way, and I say this as someone who did 4 years of radio with him, as someone who covered every second of his Packers career with a former teammate of his on the panel, Aaron Rodgers is and was a great Pro Football Hall of Fame, unanimous first ballot Hall of Fame quarterback. He wasn't always a walk in the park. He wasn't always the easiest guy to work with. And he definitely wasn't always the easiest guy to coach. So while Mike McCarthy may have not won enough with him as his quarterback, I'm not going to swear on the radio like Rob Domofsky, but he put up with some blank from that talented quarterback as well. So let's remember that there is that is a challenge too, just as it would be a challenge of trying to win with Brett Hundley, which you also tried to do during your playing career. So again, I'm not saying that Mike McCarthy is Vince Lombardi or Bill Walsh or Bill Belichick, but he's just as good as those other two guys, and the records would indicate that.
I have a question, Mr. Wilde.
Do I drive hands-free?
No. Do you think it is more likely or less likely that Aaron Rodgers comes back to play one more year with Big Mike in Pittsburgh?
So here's what I would say about Aaron Rodgers. Then I'm going to ask Bryan his opinion. I do think down deep inside, he feels a little bit bad about how things ended with Mike. And I've not had this conversation with him, but you've seen him go kind of out of his way to maybe make amends. He's one of those guys, and Bryan, I know you have people like this in your life too. They never really say they're sorry. They just try to do nice things for you to demonstrate that they're sorry, but they won't really say they're sorry. So do I think that maybe there's a part of him, if he thinks he can still sling it, that would like to kind of write a different ending to his story with Mike McCarthy? I want to believe that. Do you think I'm wrong to think that way?
No, I don't think you're wrong. And I would say that the chances, because of Mike being hired, of him coming back are better than not, right? I think if it wasn't Mike, no, I don't think he goes back to Pittsburgh. I don't think it matters who they hire, to be honest with you. I don't think he goes back. But I think hiring Mike, opens the door, and chances are higher than they would have been otherwise. And but like I said before, that Pittsburgh roster has issues too. And obviously the quarterback's the main one. That's the biggest issue. If it's not Aaron, then who's it going to be? And to me, that's obviously the big question. But I would like to see it. I think it'd be a nice swan song. You know what I mean? I think it'd be good. But Aaron won't make that decision until probably June. So we'll see.
Draft a quarterback while you're waiting would be my suggestion to them. All right, the 11 o'clock hour starts. We've made up a little bit of time. We need to play trivia. We need to get Bryan's thoughts because I want to get back to the defense. Jonathan Gannon is the new defensive coordinator of the Green Bay Packers. That has not formally been announced, and there has not been an introductory press conference yet. We'll see if that happens this week. But more importantly, I want to get Bryan's evaluation with all the tape he watched and everything else, where this defense is, especially when you factor in the free agent departures or moving on from players that are still under contract, positions where Jonathan Gannon, if he was sitting down with Matt LaFleur during his interview, which I assume they did this, hey, what do you think of Keyshawn Nixon? Hey, what do you think of Carrington Valentine? I'm sure that they did that during that 2-day process. I'm going to ask Bryan what he thinks of those guys. That will kick off the 11 o'clock hour, which will kick off in 2 minutes. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Mark Tauscher here for Pizza Hut. You know, I've loved Pizza Hut since I was a kid, and now I love making new memories, enjoying it with my family today. For a limited time, Pizza Hut's Big New Yorker pizza is just $10. An extra large pizza with 6 huge foldable slices and bold New York style flavor. Big size, big value, and just $10. Order right now on the Pizza Hut app or at pizzahut.com. Pizza Hut, feed good times. For a limited time, order a Big New Yorker pizza for just $10. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
This is Monte Ball.
Monte steps to the right, dashes, reaches, touchdown.
You listen to 100.5 ESPN WTLX Monona, Madison.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good morning, Madison and streamers everywhere. I'm Jesse Nelson. Sports Center brought to you by Ridgetop Exteriors. Trusted and local experts providing the best quality roofs, siding, windows, and doors, expertly installed and at an affordable price. Get your free estimate today at ridgetopexteriors.com. The Green Bay Packers have hired a new defensive coordinator, according to reports. Jonathan Gannon, former head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, set to take over for Jeff Hafley, who left Green Bay to become the new head coach of the Miami Dolphins. Gannon, 3 seasons as the Cardinals head coach. The team won just 15 total games in those 3 seasons. That wasn't good. But what was good was when Gannon was the defensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles when they reached the Super Bowl a few years ago. Plenty to react to as we continue throughout the day on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel, including more Wilde and Tausch coming up next with cousin sub of the day, Bryan Bulaga, in for Tausch. College basketball, tough day for the Badgers yesterday, both the men and the women. Men's team falls 73-71 at home to USC at the Kohl Center, snapping a winning streak. Women fall on the road 88-53 on the road against Minnesota.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
The 11 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch begins now. And it begins where I said it would. And we'll play trivia next. But, Brian, I don't want to make it sound like the cupboard is bare, because it obviously isn't. You traded for Micah Blanken Parsons. Xavier McKinney is a two-time All-Pro. Javon Bullard and Evan Williams are studs. Edgerrin Cooper, and I'm curious how Jonathan Gannon will deploy him and how it'll work if Quay Walker's not back. But he's a stud. We've seen that. We didn't see as many splash plays. I'd be curious how you evaluated him when you watched the film this season. But look, there are very good players, but there's also some holes. And I think we went into the season thinking after Kenny was traded, which again, I don't want to romanticize Kenny, right? He was starting to get closer to the end than he was to the beginning, obviously. But they were thin on the interior defensive line, and they were thin at corner. And guess what? They finished the season thin on the interior of the defensive line and thin at corner, and it hurt them, frankly. So when you look at the defensive personnel, what makes you feel good, what causes you concern, and what are kind of the unknowns in your mind of what Jonathan Gannon's going to have to work with?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a mixed bag on the defensive side with personnel, right? Like, you could say the same for offense, too. You could say the same for offense, too, in some...
You mean because we don't know who 60% of the offensive line starters will be for starters?
Yeah, like that, just like that. I think the area with the biggest concern is corner. I think that to me is the biggest concern, and then second up is interior D-line, because we saw how thin that got at the end of the year, right? Like we literally watched it happen from when Wyatt got hurt in Detroit till the end of the year. We saw how it kind of thinned out, and teams ran the ball successfully on us, right? And that was always going to be the big question. Obviously, why it comes back and things like that, but you need other interior guys, right? You need certain body types and players and more depth in that area. And then at DB, I feel the exact same. They spent a lot of money in the offseason on Hobbs. That obviously didn't really pan out the way that they thought it was going to pan out. Injuries or not the highest end performances and things like that. So to me, those are the two big questions. Obviously, I feel good. I mean, you don't know what's going to happen with Quay, but I feel good about Cooper being there. And I think he's a very good young quality player. Like, very good.
Do you have an opinion on Hopper yet?
Not really. Not yet. I just don't think there's enough time. You know what I mean? Like, you look at the guys that there's just not enough time to have that opinion. And you look at the guys that were out there majority of the time, he wasn't really one of them. Like he just wasn't. It'd always be Quay, McDuffie, and Cooper. Like, those were the guys that you saw most of the time. So that's another. But listen, I'm not saying that there's not potential, right? I'm not saying that, but like you just don't have enough evidence to like feel great or feel bad about the situation. We'll just leave it at that. Feel really obviously great about the safeties. We have more safeties than we know what to do with, and they're all very good. I mean, that's a positive thing. And then I guess the last part is edge rusher. And I say this because you said it, we have Micah Parsons, and like that automatically makes you in a good category at that position. Albeit coming back from a surgery that he's going to need time. You don't know the exact return date of of him. So like that makes it a question. Obviously you have Van Ness, Rashawn Gary. You don't know what's exactly going to happen in the offseason with that. I think if you were going to take a guess, they probably will move on if I was a betting man. So that leaves a lot of questions there too, because if you don't bring back Enikbare, there's another high production guy that produced a lot this year on defense at that position. He's gone. So you start the season essentially with Van Ness, the only guy that played a lot. He was hurt a lot too. So like, so you start the season out, which if I had to take a guess, we'll probably start the season out with Chicago or Detroit on the road. I'm just going to take a wild stab at it. Because I know how these things work. That'll be like Sunday Night Football to open the season against Detroit or Chicago. Yeah, it's like it always happens. So you go into one of these giant games to start the season with who rushing the passer and who's your interior players on that D line. And to me, those are the concerns that I have on that side of the ball. And listen, you could have hired Bill Belichick as the D coordinator, and he still has to figure that out. How am I gonna scheme this thing up? Like, what am I gonna do? And to me, like, Gannon's gonna have his hands full figuring out those components, the D line and then the outside guys of how am I gonna get the most out of what I have? And obviously it's up to Goody to restock that pantry, man, because it needs to happen. And with not a lot of picks and the cap space obviously probably isn't fantastic, you got to find a way, some way, somehow, and that'll be fun to watch this offseason.
Since you brought it up, and since you are a offensive lineman at heart still, let's talk a little bit briefly about this, and I'm sure if we can twist your arm to come back on Wednesday when Tausch is here, we'll talk about it then too. But you said there's question marks on the offense personnel-wise too, right? You're going to get Tucker Kraft back. He said that he thinks it'll probably be a similar timeline for training camp as it was when he was coming back from the torn pec. Obviously, this is a more serious injury, but, start out on PUP, then start practicing, be ready for the opener like he was with the torn pec. But from a bigger picture perspective, you're probably not going to pay Romeo Doubs, but you still got a lot of wide receivers. And you've got Matthew Golden, who showed what he was capable of in the playoff game. You still have Luke Musgrave at tight end, which he's not. He did not live up to the hype to this point. That's for sure. But I'm not saying they're going to move on from Josh Jacobs. But if they somehow did, I wouldn't exactly be like completely floored by it. I'd be disappointed. I'd be maybe mildly surprised, but it wouldn't shock me. And then the offensive line. I don't know how good, and neither do you, as someone who played the position and then played elsewhere, how good Jordan Morgan's going to be at left tackle. I don't think it's a slam dunk. I think it could go either way on Aaron Banks. I don't think they're going to re-sign Sean Ryan. If they do, great, but I don't think so. And then Zach Tom, we all agree is a fantastic player, but man, he's dealt with some stuff now the last 2 years. So you better have somebody who can step in for him. And who is that person at this point? And then Anthony Belton, we all thought, and I'm not saying we did this with you as a rookie because you were a first-round pick, but we did it with Dave Bakhtiari for sure. Well, he played well for a rookie. Okay, that's good. But once you're no longer a rookie, well, you better play better than just, well, he played good for a rookie. So where do you look when you look at the offensive personnel? What do you see and what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm nervous about the offensive line. That's where I'm nervous about. And we'll start with Zach Tom, and as good as we think he is, yeah, he's dealt with injuries, but coming back from a patella tendon surgery, I've said this to Homer, and I've said this to as many people. I don't know much about this surgery and in the rehab time on it, and like I just don't know much about it, right? Like, and I'm assuming he got it done. Because you can't go on with a torn patella tendon. Like I don't care who you are. There's no such thing as that, or partially torn patella tendon. So I don't know the recovery time on that. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know how you move after that. Like I don't know anyone that's had that surgery to like compare to, right? Like I don't know. So that's a big question mark in my mind. Like, and I love him as a player. So like, I'm hoping that he recovers from it great and he's healthy, but even if he does recover great and he's healthy from it, what's the timetable on that? He said 6 months. I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, that's so
your
you look
area
at
of
going
expertise is ACL tears.
Yes, that's about as far as meniscus and ACLs, and like that's like as far as I go with the knee. And then you look at the other positions. Yes, you hit the nail on the head with Belton. Yeah, you perform well as a rookie, but that can't be the standard. That can't be the standard of what it is going forward. It has to be much better going forward, in my opinion. And then the center position, completely up for grabs. No idea. Because I've as good as I think Sean Ryan did in the short span that he had to rush, get ready to go play center, and do it in the most crunch time part of the season, I don't see them paying to keep him around to play center. I just don't see it. I thought Banks got better as the season went on as he got healthy. But I even think if you were to ask him, he would say, I need to perform way better. I would think he would say that. Like, and that's not taking a shot at anyone. That's just being dead honest. Like we all know this. This is a money business, and you've said it. You know, money. How much money you get paid is a respect level and things like that. But it also, you look at it as your performance level. The more you get paid, the more expectations are that you perform at a very high level. And if you were to ask him, he would probably say, no, I need to be better. So, like, that's the next thing is, like, is he going to be able to raise his level? Obviously, stay healthy. Some of those things are out of your control when, you know, things happen. I get that. Mm-hmm. And then left tackle, it's probably going to be Jordan Morgan, but there's not enough videotape that we can watch that says that's going to be a slam dunk. We don't have that on film. I mean, and I get it. Like, it's different. Well, we didn't have any tape on you as right tackle. Yeah, I know. Believe me, it made me nervous too. But I went out and I played. I don't know how many games. I played how many games out there my rookie year, and I got better as time went on. But I get that. But he's had multiple years now to win that job over. He didn't win the job over, and then the chances he did get out there, like the Minnesota game, didn't go well. Like it didn't go as well. And then for how much he was bouncing around from guard to right tackle, back to guard, now out to left tackle, like he hasn't had a chance to settle into a spot. So now here we go. This is probably going to be the chance he settles into left tackle. How does it go? I don't know. I hope it goes great, but we don't have anything to feel great about that it is going to go great based on tape. So a lot of questions there. And I get the tight end position. I'm not as worried about that. I'm not as concerned about the tight end position. And if they move on from Jacobs, I'm with you. I'll be disappointed because I love Josh Jacobs as a back. Everything I hear about him as a leader in the locker room, I love it. There's not much to not like about Josh Jacobs. So if they do move on, yeah, I'll be disappointed. But there's another question then that arises is who's going to carry that load in the running back position? You're going to draft someone. You don't have in the third round, you're going to hope you find gold. Fourth round, you're going to hope you find gold. There's just a lot of questions. And starts with the O-line, and then it would go to running back if Jacobs is not back.
A lot to look at as the offseason rolls on. And look, I saw Adam Stenovich is getting an interview for an offensive coordinator gig, so they could lose him. There's still some moving pieces. I know there's some fans, and I have said that it wouldn't be the worst thing to get some fresh ideas on offense either. Again, I don't know if you just bring back – you've already got Luke Getsy and Nathaniel Hackett on your staff. If you just bring them back and make one of them the offensive coordinator, if Steno gets a job elsewhere, I don't know if that changes much. But there's going to be a lot of moving pieces. And there is every offseason, obviously. But it feels like there's, especially with potential staff changes, and maybe there aren't any. That's one thing we didn't get into, Brian, is whether or not the fact that we're sitting here on Monday, January 26th, and we haven't heard anything about existing staff changes and people being dismissed or leaving, that would indicate that the status quo is more likely than not. And I know there's a lot of fans that don't feel great about that idea either. But there's a lot of things we have to wait and see what happens here. But it's going to be an interesting offseason, as it frequently is. Speaking of interesting, I'm always interested in what Jesse's conjured up for Wilde and Tausch Trivia, presented by Cousins Subs and Iron Jock. Jesse, I assume it's the sports weekend recap like it is every Monday?
It is an eventful sports weekend, and the things going on around the sports world, the subject of today's trivia category.
Which caller would you like?
Caller number 16.
Caller 16 right now, 844-770-3776, 844-770-3776. Caller 16 plays trivia. Is that how many dollars you won on Prize Picks over the weekend, Jesse?
Not this weekend. No, I went 3 out of 4 twice, which normally would be good if I was doing the flex play. But because we had the discounted Sam Darnold 0.5 passing yards, I went a little riskier this week. And I tried to go with the power play 4 for 4 on 2 different entries. So I was good. I had 6 out of 8 correct. But I had, because I had the power play selected, I was not a winner this weekend. But have done a lot of winning over the years with Prize Picks, as has Tausch. And no better time to get started than right now, because the big game is almost here. And it's honestly the best time of year to be watching sports. If you're looking for a way to stay locked in for every drive, every big play, you got to check out Prize Picks, where it always feels good to be right. Prize Picks, the easiest way to play daily fantasy. You can put together a lineup in under a minute. Just pick more or less on at least 2 player projections, and suddenly every snap matters a little bit more. One thing that's really cool on the new Prize Picks is the social feeds feature. You can see what other people are playing, copy lineups from winners with one click, or follow Prize Picks partners and ride along with their picks. Maybe I should do more of that because I haven't been so good lately myself. I should just follow what other people are doing. It might be better. It makes the whole experience way more fun, especially for a game like the big game coming up in a couple of weeks. And another great feature, early payouts. I should look at that too. If your lineup gets off to a fast start, you now have the option to cash out before the game even finishes. So don't miss out, especially with football winding down. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code WI to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Code WI gets $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good
to be right, which Jesse wasn't over the weekend. Caller 16 plays trivia next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill, when your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or Choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
At J&K Security Solutions, protecting your home or business is more than just the priority. It's what we do. I'm President Jeffrey Beckman. Since 1987, J&K Security Solutions has been committed to providing Madison and southern Wisconsin with dependable security solutions. Whether it's security, fire, or the latest automation solutions, go to jksecurity.com to see how J&K can help keep your home or business secure. Get protected now at jksecurity.com.
Since 1956, Holman Lindsay Paints has been making paint in Wisconsin for Wisconsin. Because of their commitment to making great paint for Wisconsinites, Holman Lindsay has grown over the years to 26 locations in this great state. Headquarters in Sun Prairie with a state-of-the-art facility, Holman Lindsay has the paint you need to make your job better. From do-it-yourself to professional, Holman Lindsay has paint for everyone. Visit one of their local locations today in Madison, Sun Prairie, Middleton, and Janesville.
The UW Credit Union member Mark Tauscher here. People ask me, old T, why did you join UW Credit Union? Well, is it to keep your banking local? Is it the member first service? Great perks like early payday? Absolutely. But honestly, between us, it's Bucky. I can't say no to that face. If you love Wisconsin like I do, you just can't pay with anything else. Fandom makes us do crazy things, but this just makes sense. Become a UW Credit Union member and get your Bucky card like me. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions apply.
Division III college basketball plays on ESPN Wisconsin.
For the first time ever, WIAC basketball plays on ESPN Wisconsin.
Showcasing the best games from one of the top conferences in the country.
Spin move and a finish off the glass.
That's just a big man going to work. Simple as that.
Pass to the right corner. Quick trigger. Three is good.
WIAC Wednesdays. Wednesday nights at 7 o'clock. Streaming free on the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Listen to Madison Money Guy every Saturday morning at 7 a.m. on 100.5 ESPN and ESPNWisconsin.com.
I like to refer to inflation as the silent killer. It's an invisible risk. It's just the idea that things get more expensive over time. You're going to need milk and eggs when you're in your early 60s and when you're in your early 80s. You're going to get a loaf of bread, and it's going to be more expensive 20 years from now.
Christian Finfrock is the Madison Money Guy. Call him today at 208-1800.
Everyone plays like a champion at TPC Wisconsin. Our friendly community shares one thing, a passion for world-class golf. Women, men, and youth golfers all love the course. The $25 million upgrade is impeccable, and the list of amenities is more than impressive. But belonging where the shared pursuit of excellence is a daily practice and not just a tagline? That might be the best part. Join today and pay no dues until April 1st. Discover belonging. TPCWisconsin.com.
This is Eric Brown, owner of Siding Unlimited, letting you know that Siding Unlimited installs Pella windows and doors. That's right, Siding Unlimited installs windows, and we do it really well, earning the prestigious Pella Platinum Premier National Certified Contractor of the Year award 5 times. New windows, our expert team will deliver on a smooth, hassle-free installation, making you feel proud of calling Siding Unlimited for your window project. Looking for new windows and doors? Visit sidingunlimited.com or stop by our beautiful showroom in Madison.
Wilde and Tausch on 100.5 ESPN is brought to you by Everlight Solar. Save money, save the planet. Everlight Solar.
Time for trivia presented by Cousin Subs and Iron Jock.
Wilde and Tausch Trivia is brought to you by Cousin Subs. Cousin Subs $10 deal meal gives you a 7.5-inch sub, bag of chips or regular fries, fountain drink, and a cookie, all for just $10. This deal is only available online or through the Cousins app. And Iron Jock, performance apparel that actually performs. No stink, just performance, and proudly Wisconsin built. Shop now at ironjock.com.
I love it when we have a first time contestant. And you know, I also love it when we have contestants with cool names like Boomer. Now my concern, Athelstein? Is that, am I saying that correctly?
Athelstein is oddly specifically where we go up north outside of Crivets. So it's not a large place.
It's a Crivets suburb?
It is. I don't know Boomer. He's called in a few times, but when he said he was Boomer and Athelstein, at first I thought it was like my brother-in-law calling it under a pseudonym. It's not. I don't know Boomer, but we're going up this weekend, so our paths may cross.
Boomer, good morning. Welcome to the show. How you doing?
Good morning. Doing great. How are you guys?
I am great. I've got a buddy who grew up in Crivets, my buddy Tyler, so we love that region, not as much as Jesse does, and we wish you luck on the weekend recap trivia presented by Cousin Subs and Iron Jock. Question 1 is this, Boomer. Okay, Boomer. Which Green Bay Packers player attended the Wisconsin men's hockey game on Saturday night as the Badgers played host to his Penn State Nittany Lions at the Kohl Center? Was it Micah Parsons, Xavier McKinney, or Tyron Hat-Trick Hopper?
That would be the guy with the most juice to fire up the crowd, Micah Parsons.
I didn't know Tyron Hopper's nickname was Hat Trick. I learned something new today.
Hat Trick Hopper. You should call him that next time you see him.
Wonder if Tyron knows that that's his nickname. All right, question 2, Boomer.
He gets 3 sacks in a game, he'll be Hat Trick Hopper.
You're on to something there. Question 2, Boomer, is this: the Bucs game on Sunday night was postponed due to inclement weather. And I saw they donated all the food that was prepared for that game to local food banks.
That was nice.
Great.
Yeah.
That postponement prevented which opponent from being able to fly into Milwaukee for the game? Was that opponent the Memphis Grizzlies, the Denver Nuggets, or the Dallas Mavericks?
I say the Memphis Grizzlies.
You could say that, but you'd be wrong. The Dallas Mavericks were supposed to be the opponent. Jesse, do they make that up as a doubleheader the next time they play the Mavericks? How does that work?
It sounds like they're going to... That's not how that works. They are going to try and do it, I think, after the All-Star break is what I saw. Justin Garcia, our Bucks buddy, tweeted last night.
I feel good that I made you laugh with that. I was proud of that joke. All right, question 3, Boomer. Let's bounce back. Which of these Seattle Seahawks players scored a touchdown in their NFC Championship game victory over the Los Angeles Rams? A victory that sent John Schneider, former Packers executive, to the Super Bowl against Elliott Wolf, former Packers executive, of the GM of the Patriots, and meant that Devontae Adams has still not made it to the Super Bowl after the Rams lost.
0-5 Devontae is in NFC Championship games.
That's rough. Which Seattle Seahawks player scored a touchdown of these 3, Boomer? Was it Jake Bobo, Rashid Shaheed, or George Holani?
Bobo.
Boom, boom. Bobo is correct. Well done. Dude caught 4 passes all season, but a big-time touchdown for the Seahawks yesterday. All right, Boomer. Jesse wants to know what you got planned this weekend he'd like to get together.
Newt Fest this weekend. We're coming up.
What fest?
Newt Fest on Newton Lake. They got like snowmobile races and a meat raffle at the bar. All kinds of stuff going on. Live band.
Okay.
Big weekend.
Try to meet you up for the meat raffle, Jesse.
All right.
There you go.
We'll see you there. Lakeside, 2:30 Saturday. That's the place to be.
Boomer, we wish you luck in the meat raffle. We also wish you luck in the drawing. You've got 3 of the possible 4 entries on Friday. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks. Love you guys.
I love you guys.
All right. That is Wilde and Tausch trivia presented by Cousin Subs and Iron Jock.
Bulaga seemed unimpressed by coordinating the plans.
Brian's got a lot of...
Boomer.
Hey, he's got other stuff going on. Okay, he gets that segment off. He works
so
hard
do
when
I.
he's here.
See, I got plans for the weekend. Newt Fest.
All right, well, you also
Newt Fest sounds fun.
Yeah,
sounds fun.
Great. Brian's on his way. He'll meet you up
Yeah.
there.
No.
Wait for him outside the meat raffle, and if he's not there right at the start, just wait longer.
Oh, sure.
Yes.
Okay. I'll wait outside so you see me. Yeah.
Jesse's got an audio edition of Whoa Nelly. I'm eager to hear what he's got. That's next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, driven by Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie on 100.5 ESPN. See their full inventory at ZimbrickChevrolet.com.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer, providing equal employment, development, and advancement opportunities to all teammates and applicants. To learn more about careers with us, please send an email to talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com. That's talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com.
4 years. That's enough time to earn a college degree, to serve a full term as a president, to train for something big and become someone new.
You bet, and get 0% interest for 4 years at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, so you can invest in your home and in life's biggest moments. With exclusive features and customizations, Pella offers the highest quality products at a price you can afford.
Aim high when setting your New Year's resolution and imagine what you can do in 4 years when you finance your home project with Pella. Visit PellaWI.com today.
When a trophy is raised, it can feel like the season's over. But on the ESPN app, it never really is. Because with more than 47,000 live events, plus originals, highlights, and coverage from every corner of the sports world, there's always something to dive into. No off-season, just everything a fan needs to keep going. Always in season, get all of ESPN all in one place. Download the ESPN app on your TV or phone today.
We love the Packers. We bleed green and gold. And every time our team takes the field, well, it's pure football bliss. If only there was a way to experience that blissful winning feeling every day. At Associated Bank, we've got you with 10% off Lambeau concessions and 15% off Pro Shop merch. All when you get Packers checking from Associated Bank. It's how Packers fans keep winning on game day and every day. Associated Bank, Bank of the Packers. Learn more at associatedbank.com/Packers. Member FDIC.
All day, every day. The Carbless Talk and Text line is open for you. 844-770-3776. The Carbless Talk and Text line. This is more.
Steady. Ah, I hit my thumb.
What's up, Madison? It's Stacy from Bruner Realty. Did you swear that you'd get that house project done ages ago and now it's causing you real pain? From leaky faucets to light fixtures, let our handyman team at Bruner Realty fix it all. Fast, friendly, and without the agony. We take care of it so you don't have to. Visit fixedbybruner.com. That's fixedbybruner.com.
Ben Brust here for the Princeton Club. If you're looking for your better tomorrow, you know where to go. It's the Princeton Club. If you're looking to grow, it's also the Princeton Club, because they will cheer for you in all areas of your life. The best way to do that is to start a foundation of having a healthy body, and your growth will start from there. With the cleanest health clubs in Wisconsin, they provide everything for you to reach your goals. Join before January 31st to get the lowest rates of 2026. Make sure you join the Princeton Club for a better tomorrow.
Mark Tauscher here, and your seat at the table just got better at Hard Rock Casino Rockford. Return to Hard Rock Casino Rockford's high-limit room, where the odds are in your favor. With enhanced game rules, including blackjack, where the dealer stands on soft 17, you'll enjoy better odds, faster play, and the kind of authentic high-limit action that sets Hard Rock Casino Rockford apart. Visit the high-limit room and rediscover your game on your terms, in your rhythm, and with your edge at Hard Rock Casino Rockford.
Prizes, flyaways, even cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting ESPNWisconsinContests.com. That's ESPNWisconsinContests.com.
Hey, it's Rich Eisen. Keep it right here after Wilde and Tausch, and join us for the Rich Eisen Show on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
You know what that music means? It means we don't have to pay for it. Time now for Won't Ellie.
If the topic is good, the guys discuss.
Just the other morning I had breakfast at Tracy Rocker's house. His mama brought out 15 flapjacks. He said, Mama, take back 5 of them flapjacks. I gotta stay hungry for the Crimson Tide.
But if it's not, the show must go on. It's time for
Whoa, Nelly!
On Wilde and Tausch.
As the reactions began to pour in on Saturday and Sunday to Mike McCarthy being hired as the new head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, one of the strongest reactions that I saw was from Myron Medcalf, who has made appearances on ESPN Wisconsin. He hosts the Sunday Morning National show on ESPN Radio. I think Tausch has been on with him a few times. I think he's originally from Wisconsin, from Milwaukee.
Yeah, I think he's a Milwaukee guy. Yep.
And he covers the Big Ten a lot for a college football writer for ESPN.com and whatnot. So he weighed in on the Mike McCarthy hire for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Eager to hear your reactions to this.
He's not a guy who really adds a lot to anything. He has Dak Prescott in the prime of his career. He has a defense that is incredible. He has an offensive line that's one of the best in the leagues. And Dallas does what in the postseason? He has Aaron Rodgers when Aaron Rodgers is playing at the Manning-Brady level. I'm not saying he's Brady, but he was talked about in that sort of hierarchy. He was one of the best in the league. They won a Super Bowl, and then what happens after that? So to me, if you're going to fire Mike Tomlin or Mike Tomlin steps down because he's not getting the job done in the postseason, what can Mike McCarthy tell you that would convince you that he's going to elevate this team in the postseason when it matters most? That's not who he is. He's a regular season success story who takes the Uber home in the postseason and doesn't help your franchise win. It's a terrible move.
Terrible move, says
Takes
Myron
the
Medcalf.
Uber home.
Yeah. That's as strong as I've heard anybody be anti-Mike McCarthy to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Since we were all sunshine and rainbows say this was such a great hire, what do you make of that commentary on the other side of the argument?
I make nothing of it. Come on. I'm not sure I'm not sure he fully grasps. Look, they definitely did not win enough Super Bowls with Aaron Rodgers. Bryan Bulaga would agree with that. But takes the Uber home in the postseason. They reached 4 NFC championship games during his tenure. Like that's not just mailing it in the postseason. And come on, Brian, I'm done with this.
Yep, I'm there with you. I don't understand that. So then, I guess what does he say about Mike Tomlin?
Right.
What's his opinion about Mike Tomlin? What's his opinion about Harbaugh? Then give those opinions too. Make sure that you apply additional information to, who you think then should have gotten the job and why they should have gotten the job and what is their credentials to get the job. Like if you're just gonna just dump on McCarthy and say that, then at least provide who you believe is the solution and why is the solution and the credentials to back that solution. So that's really all I got to say about it.
Should have hired Jim Harbaugh or John Harbaugh or Jack Harbaugh. Some Harbaugh.
Any Harbaugh.
On the other side, Chris Canty this morning on Unsportsmanlike on ESPN Radio, also weighing in on the McCarthy hire.
I understand how you can feel like it's not a swing for the fences home run move, but you didn't need a home run move. You need a base hit. You're trying to figure out what the next quarterback is going to look like. You need somebody that can identify him. You need somebody that can develop him. It's not something that the Pittsburgh Steelers have done well, right? They got Ben Roethlisberger. They rode that till the wheels fell off and haven't been able to find anything since. Mike McCarthy will help you. If nothing else, he will help you identify and develop the next quarterback, whether he's already in the building or whether you got to acquire him. McCarthy can find him. McCarthy can get the best out of him. That's the win for you if you're a Steelers fan.
Shaking your head more in agreement on that one, I see.
Yeah. Hey, look, it's not a sexy hire. Mike McCarthy, and I think even Mike McCarthy would say this, is not sexy. He's not too sexy for this job. Too sexy for this job.
Very, very, very frustrating.
But I'll tell you this. He's going to start the building process of your program, which that organization needs a rebuild. And he will start that, and maybe some other young coach 4 years from now will benefit from it. But I don't think it's an atrocious hire, and that's regardless of how I feel about Mike.
I agree. You don't need to ask my opinion. I agree.
You were eager for the audio edition of Whoa Nelly.
Yeah,
and I
not
feel
anymore.
like you were just kind of irritated by the audio.
No, it did not. That's not your fault.
I don't know what you like around here anymore with Whoa Nelly.
Yeah, I like it. I like the fact that it's over. That is it for Whoa Nelly. We'll wrap things up next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
We're on the Packers.
It's never been about beating the Bears or the Vikings. It's about winning a championship.
Because we're on Wisconsin sports.
There is an intensity deficit, and there won't be now. Those days are gone.
You're listening to 100.5 ESPN.
Mark Tauscher here for the Blue Mountains of cold, refreshing Coors Light. Whether you're tailgating pregame, cracking one open during the game, celebrating a big win after the game, or you just need a moment to chill, crack open a Rocky Mountain Cold Coors Light. Coors Light is brewed with a 3-step cold process, cold lager, cold filtered, and it's cold packaged, so it's actually made to chill. The mountains on Coors Light's cold activated bottles and cans turn blue when chilled to perfection, which, besides the refreshing taste, is my favorite thing about drinking Coors Light. Refreshingly cold and only 102 calories, Coors Light is made to chill. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute is brought to you by Bruner Realty, providing excellent real estate and property management services in the Madison area for over 30 years. Contact their team at BrunerRealtyInc.com to get housed today. Luke Fickle on Wilde and Tausch detailing Wisconsin's off-season tackling of the portal. Fickle on why he and his staff acted swiftly, resulting in a massive 32 transfer pickup.
You had to be, strategically placed in a way that, hey, when this thing opens, if we're not in a position to have a chance to sign guys immediately, you have a small window. We were aggressive, and we had to grow beyond, our comfort zones.
Get 0% interest for 4 years at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. With exclusive features and customized for every home, Pella provides the highest quality products at a price you can afford. Go to PellaWI.com. PellaWI.com.
I was afraid that college would be like high school. I worried about starting over and feeling alone. But I'm so glad I didn't let that stop me. At Madison College, I'm part of a community, and I've never felt alone. My instructors have been incredible, and I made so many friends and connections. My advice to others, don't let your fears stop you. There's more to your story at Madison College.
Visit madisoncollege.edu to get started.
You said yes. You set a date.
Now comes the pressure of choosing a ring you'll wear every single day, forever.
That's why Chalmers Jewelers is hosting our Wedding Band Trunk Show.
Join us February 20th in Madison and the 21st and 22nd in Middleton.
Every wedding band vendor will be in-house, bringing their entire lineup. More styles and designs than your Pinterest board can handle.
Appointments are filling up fast, so reserve your spot now.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
and Madison.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
$2.3 million. A recent Schwab survey of Americans says that it takes $2.3 million to be wealthy. But you may have had your financial plan set on a bigger or a more humble number. But if you're looking for added insights on how to get there or how to avoid some tax pitfalls on the way, Annex Wealth Management is ready to listen. Mark Tauscher here, and whether your situation is complex or simple, the Annex Wealth Management team can give you wealth expertise and guidance on reaching your goals. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference.
Zimbrick Honda has been a proud part of the Madison community since 1973. They're your one-stop shop for over 250 new Hondas to choose from. Whether you're looking for a sedan, SUV, or truck, their selection of new vehicles is second to none. Stop in today at their location on Fish Hatchery Road and lease a 2025 Honda Accord Hybrid EXL sedan for as low as $359 per month. Or browse their vehicle selection online at ZimbrickHonda.com. That's ZimbrickHonda.com. Shop local, shop Zimbrick Honda.
On the air, on demand, on social, on Wisconsin Sports. Serving Wisconsin sports fans. This is 100.5 ESPN.
Wrapping up on Wilde and Tausch with our cousin sub, Bryan Bulaga. Before we say goodbye to Bryan, and we'll talk to him again on Wednesday, just want to say something on a personal note. Our girls, Madison and Sydney, did not hit the grandfather lottery. Paula's dad was a lifelong alcoholic who was never in their lives. My dad chose not to be in their lives, and so they didn't have the cool grandpa for a lot of their time. And Paula's mom was with someone for nearly 20 years. His name was Roger. And he passed away over the weekend, which was pretty emotional for the girls because he took on that role. And we were really lucky to have him as part of our family. And, you know, everyone loves grandpas, right? Grandpas are awesome. And when you don't get to have that, you're missing out as a kid. I remember going through a similar thing with my grandparents, and I like to make sure that Paul and I always say it ends with us, and we make sure that things are different for our girls. But we were really lucky to have Roger as part of their lives, and we were really thankful for him, and we're going to miss him. And I know he listened to the show. Big podcast guy, Roger was, when he was driving around his Corvette. So we thank him for the difference he made in our girls' lives, and we're going to miss him. So
sounds like a guy with some style.
Much more stylish than me, and Lord knows I wasn't able to drive a stick, so I never got to take it for a spin. So thank you for the opportunity to say that. I did want to say it. Bryan, I got to say this to you. We are so lucky to have you on our team, man. And anytime Tausch is out, you always step in if you possibly can, and we're always smarter for it. You're the best, buddy. Thanks a lot. Thanks for filling in today.
I appreciate it. I mean, even though Jesse gives me a hard time every time I come on here, I love doing it. It's a lot of fun. But Jesse, as always, thank you for tolerating me for the last 3 hours. I'm sorry to interrupt your daily programming.
We'll see if we can get Bakhtiari next time.
Yeah, I know.
Better have the dump button ready, that's for sure. That is it for us today. Tausch is back tomorrow. Thanks again to Bryan, and thanks to you for coming along for the ride with us today. Have a great day. Take care. Be good.
Miss any of today's episode of Wilde and Tausch? Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin? Commercial